Hey everybody, welcome back to the Balcony Time podcast. My name is Andy and my nut butter is now in shareable fun-sized pouches.
Welcome back everybody, I'm Russ, and I want you to know that yoink is the opposite of yeet.
Everybody, this is Andrew, and I want to get fat for cash.
This is Nick. There are two popes per square kilometer of the Vatican.
Is that true?
What?
Ready.
Thank you. So I went to
Wait,
Five
I'm not
Guys.
ready.
We're recording. I went to Five Guys the other day for the first time.
Okay.
Haven't had Five Guys before.
Okay.
I haven't either, for what it's worth.
Pretty good burger.
Okay.
That's a non sequitur. In-N-Out. They suck.
In-N-Out sucks.
In-N-Out fucking
It's
sucks.
so bad.
I like In-N-Out.
Dude, it's trash burger.
It's
It's good, man.
It's the cheapest trash burger
Yep.
you can get.
It-
You might as well go to McDonald's for a dollar mini burger.
The lettuce
Yep.
and the tomato's good on there.
It
man.
is. So, speaking as far as quality goes, sure. But when it all comes together,
I like that animal
Take it or
style
leave
burger, man.
Also, I think animal style is a bunch of garbage. Man, it doesn't taste very good.
You don't redeem a burger
Or-
just by putting a bunch of extra shit on that burger.
Or
That's the only way
especially
you redeem a
fries.
burger.
No, you just make a better quality burger.
I don't know. I always.
I should. Let me retract my statement. Yes, you do make a burger better by adding more stuff to the burger. I definitely don't want, because you are correct.
White Castle would argue with you.
Well, they
Actually,
can, but,
they're minimalist.
It's
Yeah.
they're fucking hipster burgers.
I don't know, man. I watched. Have you seen that Binging with Babish?
Binging
Binging with
Binging with
Babish?
Babish.
That's.
Binging with Babish.
I've only read it.
Yeah.
Okay, binging with Babish.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that's how you use it. Okay. To be fair, it was told to me that way.
Okay.
But I saw an episode where he cooked White Castle burgers,
Uh-huh.
the way they do that. And I guess what they do is their patties never actually touch the grill. What they do is they lay down a bunch of onions, and then they put their patties on top of the onions.
Okay.
And then the steam from the onions is what actually cooks the burger. And then what they'll do is they'll like put the piece of cheese down to start melting on the grill, and then like flip it over on top of that, and then flip it back like with the bottom bun. But yeah, he's just cooking on a bed of onions. I thought that was really interesting.
And how many foods taste better steamed?
No, it's the onion
Clams.
steam. It's the steam of the onion cooking it.
Yes, you're
not like-
cooking your hamburger meat with steam. And my
But
point
it's-
is,
Oh, I guess
many
it's true.
how many foods taste better steamed?
Have you ever had something onion steamed?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that could be the make. I've had a White Castle burger.
Okay.
It's
I have not.
definitely not worth any hype whatsoever.
Was it the frozen one?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I've heard they like ship out frozen burgers.
Yeah.
you can buy them at
yeah.
food for less.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If I were to play devil's advocate, having had In-N-Out once and I forgot about it, I remember it being standard. I imagine, for what I think it's a little hyperbole to say, it's akin to a McDonald's burger. I don't remember it being that bad.
No, it's better than a McDonald's burger for sure.
How
would
long
Which
has it been
it's-
since
I would
I've
go
had
to
a
McDonald's
burger?
first.
Years.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah, I mean,
while.
like, I think if you had it more recent in your memory, you'd realize that, like,
Nah. I don't remember it being bad.
I remember
being
McDonald's burgers
This
really
is
well.
better than McDonald's and maybe Burger King. But what I was
Quality-wise,
getting at,
yes. I don't think they have. Flavor-wise, does
So-
nothing for
okay,
me.
hold up. What's the difference between flavor and quality?
Oh, a lot.
A ton.
I would say, well, no, because quality
have, like, a
indicates
Quality of
Not
ingredients
necessarily.
can contribute to flavor, and does.
Can.
Right?
Yes.
It's a direct correlation between quality and flavor.
Not necessarily.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Tell me something that has high quality and low flavor and something that has high flavor and low quality.
Yes.
A really
In-N-Out
fresh
and
cucumber.
McDonald's. That's what I'm talking about.
What?
So McDonald's, low quality, lots of fillers, lots of garbage,
And
not super
bad
fresh
flavor.
ingredients,
They
and I
taste-
think they taste better than In-N-Out.
Oh, well, you're just weird.
No, I don't. I think there are plenty of people out there that agree with me. But I think there are enough people that are on the hipster bandwagon that think that In-N-Out is the be-all, end-all of a tasty burger. And I think there are just options that are better, closer, and more convenient. You don't have to wait like an hour and a half through the drive-thru.
I would also make the point too that like they're not that expensive,
They're cheap.
but it's also
That's
not
what it is.
It's
It's
also
value.
No, because see, it's not $1 burger off the McDonald's menu. You're still going to go to In-N-Out and spend like $6 to $8.
Yeah.
It's like
For a
three.
burger?
It's at least $3 something for an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah.
for a standard burger. But
that's
you were
cheap.
also talking about animal
Fries
style.
and a drink. Same
Yeah, like
premise.
$5 for a burger.
That's
Yeah.
that's not a value burger at $5.
I think
Not when
I
you
think
have
it
dollar
is.
burgers.
Yeah. I think it's higher cost value burger, but I think it is in that territory.
My original point was that I think for a lot of Californians, the In-N-Out was the de facto fast food
Sure.
burger.
Yeah.
And you grow up eating that, and it becomes a preferred burger.
But people here did not grow up eating that, and it's a relatively
But
new
they've
thing to our
heard
area.
The hype.
It's
Well,
In-N-Out is
You
100%
got to
hype.
remember, we live in Medford.
There's a lot
we
of
had a
immigration
line
from
around
it.
the corner for fucking Sonic
So-
when they opened
So
up.
true, but the line
Damn.
around the corner still persists at In-N-Out, and it's
Yeah.
been like 3-4 years since we got that
Those
fucking
are
thing.
probably people from California.
No.
No.
It'd be people from further up north in Oregon.
So the thing is, I went to the mall just to buy a new hat the other day. Like that was on my day's agenda, right?
How much flavor did it have?
And what was
Enough.
its quality?
Enough. It wasn't a flex fit, so it was a McDonald's hat. But I turn into the mall, right, where the mall parking lot is where we have our In-N-Out, and I had to wait for In-N-Out traffic to clear because it was clogging all lanes.
Yeah, I've been there. I've done that.
So
As
you
if
know
you want
where-
to make a trip to the mall worse.
So you know where the entrance to the mall is?
Yeah.
The line for In-N-Out went around the entrance and in front of Macy's.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
good.
like a fucking quarter-mile drive-through line.
Well, here's a question.
I don't understand why people are sitting in the drive-thru.
I don't fucking get.
because
I
the
don't.
inside's packed.
Every time I've gone inside, I've waited like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean they're fast,
Yeah.
right? But
Occam's-
the thing is like, I went in, grabbed my hat. I went to Wetzel's Pretzel, got a pretzel, ate it, came out, and the same pink bug with the fucking eyelashes on its headlights was still in the drive-through line. I was in the
talking
mall
about a
for like
car.
45 minutes, right? And this car had moved like halfway through the line at that point.
Something to consider. I was going to mention Occam's razor. If there's still that many people going there, and with the assumption that taste is subjective, it must be therefore good enough to enough people that most people consider it a quality.
I think
I-
people
I
love
feel like the
fucking
most
plain tasting food.
I feel like the most obvious answer is they're probably putting Coke in their burgers. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the matter is that it is just an acceptable burger. At the end of the day,
It's
it's
a good
just,
one, yeah.
It's,
I will
it's not a
eat
good
an
one.
In-N-Out
It's
burger.
good.
I'm not saying it's good. That's not what I'm saying. Don't
No.
put words in my mouth. I'm saying
I'll
it's
try.
acceptable. And if it's an acceptable burger, then you get a play off of the hipster aspect of like going to In-N-Out. Because like even when we were younger, there's multiple trips where we're like, let's drive to Redding, California,
Yeah.
to get In-N-Out. That
Mhm.
happened like at least 4 times growing up.
I was always in it for the trip, not for the In-N-Out. Personally.
Sure, but it's the In-N-Out ethos that
Yeah.
made it a
oh,
thing.
for sure.
And so that's what drives, I think, it past its just acceptable level of food quality.
So
Yeah.
was it the trip to Five Guys that led you to this epiphany that In-N-Out is garbage?
No, well, I was already a little 'cause right after my excursion there, I was like, I should go get a fucking haircut. I'll just go get a haircut, and I had a coupon for a place, across town. So I hop on the freeway, go to Sport Clips, great little place. I think it's a chain, but it was a good haircut, right, and cheap. Then I went next door to Five Guys because they're literally next door. And Five Guys was good. I mean, it was above average burger fare. I still think I'd go to other local places first.
I'd argue that Five Guys isn't above average either. I think
You don't think
it's
so?
it's in the realm of acceptable burgers.
I think Five Guys is high quality fast food burger. I think
Yeah.
it's at the top of the chain for fast food burgers.
I think it's top of the chain for fast
I've
food
had
burgers
Five
as well.
Guys.
I would agree. I would
I've-
agree.
yeah.
I don't
As-
disagree with that.
See, that's
It's-
where I would have put In-N-Out. It's a top end fast food burger.
No, because like honestly,
Yeah.
I prefer burgers from Wendy's. I prefer burgers from Carl's
too.
Jr.
I haven't been to Wendy's or Carl's Jr. in a really long time.
Jack in the Box is like bottom of the list. They have garbage.
That's
burgers. I
garbage.
also
Yeah.
don't eat burgers from McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't
like
really either.
McDonald's. I'll get chicken nuggets if I go through there.
If I take my sister's kids to some place, McDonald's is the quick and easy, and it's got a place. So
Said my parents all through my childhood.
right, yeah.
Like-
So McDonald's makes sense for parents, I guess. Otherwise, I don't really care for McDonald's.
For
But-
me, McDonald's, Burger King, Carl's Jr., Jack in the Box, Wendy's, all those burgers are just so poor quality that I don't bother rating them. They're just the bottom of the
That's what I
barrel.
mean. They should be like.
I
they're
think-
all just
yeah.
as I can't even really tell tell the difference.
I think they're their
between
own category, and I think you can definitely discern between a Wendy's burger and a Jack in the Box burger.
the discerning
can,
factor
yeah.
being that I think they're all bad, and I don't like eating them.
Well,
so
that's-
I
I
don't
mean-
bother rating them.
As soon as you even consider eating fast food, your brain goes, "Well, that's a dumb idea."
See, I think they're all fine, and I will eat at those establishments. I just
I eat them because they taste
Yeah.
good, not because I think I'm doing something favorable for my body.
Dude, I love me a fucking double western from Carl's Jr. I think
Occasionally I do
it's
too.
tasty.
Sometimes I like a Baconator from Wendy's.
Shit, yeah, dude.
I mean, it's
At the end of the day, we have too many good local places.
Yeah,
so that's
I
my
think we don't have
argument, is
enough
that
though.
When it comes to the burger argument, we live in a town where Jasper's exists,
Right.
and to me, Jasper's is probably the best burger I've ever had. I can get at
from
Jasper's
from a restaurant.
It's way up
Yeah,
there,
from
yeah.
a not homemade, obviously. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna spend like $9 on a burger that I fucking love, and I'm gonna spend probably $9 at any fast food place that I go
Yeah,
to. So
these days, yeah.
why would I ever?
Yeah, there's no reason to go to fast food when you can go to Jasper's.
Yeah,
So I if I want a burger, there's basically two choices for me, unless I'm already out and about and something's more convenient. And that is, if I feel like driving, I'll go to Jasper's. If I don't want to drive or I'd rather walk, then I'll just go to Deli Delight.
yeah, we do have Deli Delight, which
Yeah.
is good.
They're good burgers.
That's like I consider that's like its own special category where it's
It
like
is.
a deli burger.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in between like a nice restaurant burger and a fast food burger.
Yeah,
It's where I put Yellow Basket as well.
I
It's
agree
the
with
same
that. I
category.
think Deli Delight and Yellow Basket are the same kind of
yeah,
ilk.
they're in the middle.
Have you guys been
median
to
ground.
a place called Burger Spot?
Burger
downtown?
Spot? Oh yeah,
They're good.
We've eaten
I've
there a
never-
lot,
Yeah. it's
Oh,
right-
Burger Spot. That's
Is that
Brian
right
used to work
next
there. I
to
think.
Josh's house?
No, it's right
No,
next to
it's-
where
I'm thinking of Barney's Burger.
Yes,
Barney's.
but they're
Barney's.
good too.
Barney's is
too.
good.
Yeah. So we do have some good local burger shops.
That's
We do.
yeah.
that's
I,
the thing.
I would
is-
argue that almost every town of this size has better burger options. than
Yeah, don't
fast
go to
food.
McDonald's if you live in like a decent sized town. Go to a local place.
The sad thing
They're
is we have 4 Taco Bells in a city the size of like 80,000 people.
Right. It's weird.
Right. Our area just loves fast food.
Yeah.
Man.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. All
Well,
the
and-
fast food chains.
The bottom line is like property value is increasing here because people are moving here, and so they're
Yeah.
going to try to. Developers are just forcing shit down your throat.
For sure.
Like,
But
that's the bottom line.
we didn't even have a Chipotle, which I would grade above a McDonald's or, a Wendy's.
Sure.
Only slightly. It's still fast food, right? It's still fast food, but it
then
is better for you and
It's
better.
fast food
better
presented
quality.
better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
I remember in the 90s, for years, we had ads on TV for Olive Garden,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't have an Olive Garden. I remember being a kid and thinking, like,
Aw.
that place must be fucking delicious.
It was the same
year
thing.
after year of these commercials. Like, look at those breadsticks.
Well, we still have fucking CC's Pizza commercials on air.
Oh,
like
dude.
we've had
Do we
those for
really?
like 10 years. Yeah.
That's the one I was always waiting for.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Pizza
buffet
buffet.
pizza.
Shit, yeah.
Please.
Pizza buffets are awesome.
Yeah. We used to have this one in Lewiston, Idaho called Godfathers. And that's like the place we would go after like baseball games and stuff and get the pizza buffets.
When I was living in Forest Grove, I lived across the street from a Godfather.
Ooh, that's danger zone.
Yeah.
That's
I hit that buffet up once a week.
so nice. I mean, because like if you want, they have a salad bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
For those weird people that aren't just going to gorge themselves on copious amounts of pizza. And then at the end, you get to fill all those little nooks and crannies with some of that strudel dessert pizza.
Like dessert pizza. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dude, I miss having.
And they also have just like the breadsticks laying out there. And
What happened to pizza buffets, man? Like
They still
They're-
exist.
they're there.
They're
yeah,
just-
but we used to have Abby's that had buffets.
they do.
What?
Still,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it this one?
Yep.
I think that's the only one that does anymore, isn't it?
No, that one and the one out in
White City. White City does, yeah. Why not make those all day, damn it? Instead of like the 3-hour window.
They've
I'm sure you waste a
apparently
lot. of
lose
food.
money.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like
I mean,
unless
at the
you're,
end of the day,
unless
that's
you're a
gotta be the
big
argument,
business
right?
that can eat those losses elsewhere from other locations.
I
or
feel like they
whatever,
put the
then-
buffet out during the slowest time of the day, though. It's like 10 a.m. to like 1.
It's for old people.
It's literally you bring people in during the
We're,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
a town of the decrepit.
That's true. We are. It's so weird that we're such a big like retirement town.
It's the climate, man.
Yeah, it's a
we
pretty
get
place.
easy seasons all for.
Go to Florida.
No, it's going to be underwater.
And there's
Ah,
crazies
sure,
over there,
right?
from what I understand.
They don't believe that it will be, so
Well, they can believe all they want.
but
Fucking
they don't
learn to
believe it will
swim.
be, so go to Florida.
You can curse at gravity until you're.
Learn to swim.
You already got those flabby bits on your arms, just extra paddles.
That new Tool album dropped, and I still haven't listened to it yet.
New U2?
Tool.
Tool. Yeah, I heard.
I
I heard.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. we're going back in time.
I know.
We're going back in time. I'm
Let's
convinced that's
hope.
what's happening. There's a new
Seriously.
Rambo movie coming out soon. We're going back in
Ugh.
time. You know,
Yeah.
I think
everything's a reboot,
they're just
Another
afraid
Terminator.
to go
Another
into the
Terminator.
future.
and that's like a reboot.
The rainforest is on fire again, so we're back to the 90s again.
Yeah.
We're
Dude.
getting close to those 90s levels of rainforest burning.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Clinton in office. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh,
How much you want to bet AOL 2.0 shows up?
right.
Oh my God,
The
yeah.
harbinger.
Dude, I think I think
the mark of
AOL
the
got
beast.
dropped by Time Warner, so that's a possible. I think they're. For
Imagine like the
sale.
next E3, there's this big conference, the screen's black, and it just plays the like 56K connecting noise.
Dude.
Everyone loses their minds.
Watch like a Bezos or like
No.
Elon Musk buy up AOL.
Oh well.
They still have infrastructure,
Builds a
right?
spaceship out of discs.
Well, and AOL is
the world's greatest recycling project ever undertaken.
we have all like AOL is still a large internet service provider for like the Midwest.
I don't believe it.
They're
Dude,
huge.
I don't believe
I
it.
will
They're
occasionally
huge.
hear people give out an AOL domain email, and I'm like, seriously?
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
I'm literally going to Google this right
Yeah,
now.
look it
I
up,
don't
look it up.
believe AOL
Look it up.
even exists.
I personally have
Look
not
up.
heard it very often, but every time I've heard it, I'm like, that doesn't. It doesn't hit my ear right. You know?
Well, yeah, you can
'Cause it's
still
so
get.
far out
Well,
there.
you can't get an AOL.com email address anymore, but the people that
But you can be
had one already
grandfathered
are
in.
grandfathered in. Yeah.
okay.
At least that's to my knowledge, that's true. Because we had a bunch of old people coming to work and
With AOL
with AOL
domains.
email addresses, and they're like, "How do I do this?" like,
Well, first delete this account.
well, and exactly, and it's like, well, how many emails do you get from people you know? And we have to scroll through like 9 years worth of spam to find one. It's like, well, just make a new one.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But they don't want to hear that.
It's still there, Russ.
Yeah.
Okay, so what Google is telling me is that
Should have looked it up on AOL.
This is from. Well, I tried that. I tried to go to
Okay, good.
AOL.com. It was like some shitty search engine. It was like
It's
Microsoft
like the old
garbage.
keyword
Yeah.
search engines.
So some interesting facts. One, this information's from 2014, so
Okay.
it's a little dated. So they were apparently getting pressuring Yahoo to join with the company formerly known as America Online, because in 2009 they lowercased its initials.
Yes.
So it's capital A, little O, little L.
So this is like a Prince, formerly known as Prince scenario.
Yes. And they spun off from. That's when they spun off from Time Warner.
Okay.
And this says, as of 2014, it was still kicking around and actually thriving. So
I believe
like a
that it actually got
tumor.
purchased by Yahoo, and they just recently dropped AOL.
I'm gonna go 2019 and see what it says.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's the case. Because now they are all lowercase. Just so you know,
I don't think so.
lowercase a.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Is the next-
2.1 million people in the United States still use AOL dial-up to connect to the internet.
Yeah,
not a-
it's
That's not a huge
surprising.
amount.
That's like
Well-
1 out of 120-ish people, I'm guessing.
We still have.
I didn't know dial-up even existed.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
We still have
it's-
people that are using AOL here. I mean, there are people that I work with clients that.
There's
Have
plenty
never
of people
had
living out in
broadband.
the boonies. They don't have cable lines or fiber lines running.
Well, and there's also
Yeah, but
plenty
there's-
of
there's
also plenty of
DSL.
people that here, like in town where they have good internet options. Well, at least decent internet options. That use AOL. I mean, they're using the AOL browser still, which is a nightmare,
Feel bad for them.
right?
You wonder how many. What is the Monkey Buddy called? Buddy.
Bonsai Buddy.
Bonsai Buddy. How many of those they got? They got a whole troop of baboons.
You know,
on
I
the
haven't
screen.
seen Bonsai Buddy. Haven't seen Bonsai Buddy since I started fixing old people's computers.
That's good.
Yeah. No
Wow.
Clippy.
No clipping.
Yeah, poor guy.
There's a guy on Quora that's literally just talking about how he joined up in 93 and he still uses it, and like in his title it's like owner at CMK Computing Solutions.
Oh. Well, you
What
know,
is he solving? He's using
I'm solving
AOL.
computers. I'm solving them.
They a
Don't worry
problem.
about it. I got you. So I hate to disparage like local.
Clear wires.
No, well, yes, fuck those guys. So I don't. I hate to disparage like local repair shops, computer repair shops, and stuff. But so often I have. It's always old people, right? They tell me that their computer guy, he had to shut down shop recently, and no wonder why. His recommendation was stick with Windows XP, or never move to 10. Stick with 7. It's the only stable operating system. Never update it because that's what breaks your computer. Well, yeah, sure, that's that's a possibility. You're rewriting files. You can get corruption and that kind of thing. It happens. It's super fucking rare, and it's the only way you're going to stay safe. But I get these clients, on death's door, that are losing their credit card information to scammers on a fairly regular
Still
basis.
using XP.
Well, and I've got to tell them, John, it's the 7th time you've been in this year for the same problem, and what's your retirement looking like now?
Yeah.
Because you're spending all of your time like having to deal with scammers and having to deal with safety issues. Still doesn't want us to run updates for his Windows 7 machine.
Right.
All right, John. Well, we're not going to be supporting Windows 7, at the end of the year, beginning of next year, because it's no longer officially supported by Microsoft. Well, that'll be something you guys will have to deal with. Well, John, that means
it's
you
going to
need
be
to go to
something
Windows
you're
10.
going to have to deal
Yeah,
with.
absolutely.
Speaking of security, as I'm sitting here looking at this AOL shit,
Mhm.
go to the AOL page for a plan to sign up for it.
Yeah.
They do not list their speed anywhere in this.
I'm sure.
You cannot see the speeds on here. But what they are talking about is this comprehensive plan that covers everything to get ID theft alerts, detect and remove virus and malware, securely store your data. So they are clearly capitalizing on like the
Old people.
elderly
Yeah.
that want to protect their data.
So our internet service provider does that as well.
I imagine a lot of them probably do,
Yeah.
at least in the background.
It's not uncommon. They're like, get our
But
antivirus
that's usually
plus
not
package.
the selling point.
Yeah, I mean, literally
selling
the
point
speed's
is
not even
speed.
on there. The speed's not even listed.
Oh, well, yeah.
I cannot find what their speed is.
It's AOL.
Well, probably because they only have one person, like one site admin, and he's like, I can't make individual pricing for all of these counties. Like, no way, dude. Because he gets paid.
That or
like
maybe
14
it's so
bucks an hour.
shitty they don't want to put it up front.
I think it's still 56K.
Oh.
Probably. They
Yeah.
might have DSL options, but who knows?
They didn't offer them.
Yeah, well, that's
This internet says that AOL connection speed's 56K.
Damn.
yeah.
I don't miss those days.
Nope.
I
No, neither
enjoyed
do I.
them when they were new. When I first
Oh,
got
yeah.
56K.
Oh, dude.
After my 1288 baud modem.
So you had 28.8. I was
Or
envious
28.8, yeah.
because I was at 14.4.
Yeah.
I was at 14.4 through Internet CDS, and we were at 14.4 until 2001
I
when we
remember
got
having to use your
broadband.
computer. It was bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Updating Red Alert 2, dude. Nightmare.
Maybe that's
Nightmare.
why you're so into them now.
Uh,
Is to make up for that shit.
This is geared towards
Maybe.
old people. It's talking about how it, unlike a lot of other dial-ups or broadband service where you just get hit with everything that they offer at the front, AOL will give users essentially a drip feed of information about their plan over the following week, so you're not getting overwhelmed by all of its features.
It's not a bad idea.
Don't want to
Yeah.
scare old people.
You just tell them, okay, to start off, the internet is just tubes. It's a series of tubes.
the worst part is they're selling them 56K, and there are pages that won't load when
Right.
internet speeds are that low.
Yeah.
Like the servers will consider you timed out.
Right.
So yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Hey,
That-
if it works for them,
If it works for them, that's great. But
all they need is access to their email.
Well, it'll work for them for probably like the next 10, 15 years until all their clients die.
well, maybe, except for like most images, like you go to Google.com to load that JPEG is probably minutes.
Could
Oh yeah.
Now imagine the UI layout of Gmail
Fuck
on
that, dude.
on dial-up, dude.
I still run Gmail in HTML mode because
Yeah.
it's simple and clean and it's
Sure.
not
That's fair.
awful to use.
Yeah.
I hate having to use Gmail on my phone.
Really?
Yeah, because every time I open it, I'm on a different fucking email account. I just want you to show me all my goddamn emails, and I have to
Yeah.
click all emails every single time I want to use it.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it like auto sorts them into weird, like
Like the promotional
non-Euclidean
Mhm.
categories.
I
It's
know,
like this
yeah.
one's beyond the pale, that one's in the space between spaces. And I just show me my fucking.
Oh yeah, I get the same
things.
thing because I use multiple emails just for personal use. Add on things like the podcast and my work email and all that stuff, and it can be annoying.
It took 30 seconds to load the Google search page on 56K
Oh.
Yeah.
before you'd use the Google search bar.
Did you read this somewhere?
Yeah, I literally found an article from 2017 that says that it's like what it's like to use AOL dial-up internet in 2017.
Just the search bar was 30 seconds.
Yeah, to make the site functional, it took 30 seconds.
Damn. God, and then waiting for those results.
Yeah, or going to a result, right?
And that's a web page that is very minimal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like literally the
couldn't-
logo, a picture, and then the bar.
You couldn't use Facebook.
I was gonna say, I
Right.
imagine you could, specifically because Facebook has probably made sure that Facebook works for.
I'm
old people.
sure that I mean that's why your image resolution changes.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some compression algorithms they're using. But man, what an atrocious experience though.
That's what our life was like as teenagers. So
Well, it wasn't because we didn't rely as much on like high fidelity, high resolution images, right?
Well, I still waited minutes for things to load.
For sure, but it's only going to be worse now that the fidelity of those things has increased.
Yeah. I mean, Google
How
isn't.
long did we have to wait with 56K before we got our first jump in internet speed?
Like nationally, I
I mean, I feel like it bumped really fast.
It was around
Oh, yeah, no,
2000.
it was 2001 when I went over to my friend Fernando's house, and they had just moved into the area and they had Charter.
Hmm.
So that was one meg down, and I don't know the upspeed. But as soon as that happened, I pulled my mom into the room and I was like, "You need to check this out. Just go to your email."
Yeah.
And she was sold like instantly. So I was very fortunate that my mom was like, "Wow, that does make a difference." And I was like, she was excited to get home and start looking at the pricing. So
Yeah.
it was literally the next day that we had, because we had cable in the home already. So it was my dad went down, picked up a modem, and we were good to go. So I was very fortunate because we got it early.
Yeah, I can't remember what speeds we had at the house growing up. I mean, I know I could browse.
Yeah.
And I know I could play StarCraft.
I remember the speeds Colin had at his house.
Yeah.
Because man, we spent a lot of time at his house, and he had the slowest internet of all of us, and that was the worst because we'd congregate, like 9 of us around the monitor to wait
Loading
for the
something.
loading the video on E-Bombs World, And those were good times.
Oh, yeah.
E-Bombs World.
Motherfucking calm.
E-Bomb Com. We should have another LAN party soon.
Man, I would love to have like a good PC LAN party.
No, we've been talking about. So they finally put Gang Beasts is on the Microsoft
Yes.
Store. So we have
Oh,
a Xbox party where we come over and we play some 4-player couch co-op stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like Gang Beasts would be fun. Of course, we have like the Night Squad.
Needhog. Have you heard of that? Nidhogg.
I've heard of it, but not in reference to a game. It's like a
So
ancient god.
Yeah, the first one was side scroller pixelated, but you're essentially like 2 fencers, and you had your basic fencing stabs, and you could throw your sword at each other, and they're super quick rounds. It was like a boiled down version of like
I have seen that.
16-bit Super Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
and it's pretty hilarious. We can watch a little bit later. Donkey plays a bit of, I think, Needhog too. But it reminds me of playing, what was that old, Andy, the soldier game? It was like
Soldat.
Soldat.
Dude,
I don't know if
so,
anybody ever played
so
Soldat before.
the only reason it comes to my mind so quickly is because I had to struggle to remember the name fairly recently.
Oh.
Because I totally downloaded it and played it. Boy, what a pile of hot
Soldat
garbage.
was
but
essentially like if Worms, the game, was, I don't know, an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It played kind of like Worms, but everyone's a soldier with guns, and you're running around shooting each other. And yeah.
Was it similar to, you guys remember that side-scroller Metal Slug?
Oh,
yeah.
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 It was honestly a bit more like Scorched Earth if it wasn't turn-based.
That's what
thing.
Needhog is? It's
No,
like-
Soldat.
Oh.
Needhog is kind of like Soldat, but
I tuned out for a second, but I came back
Yeah.
and you said Scorched Earth.
I'm trying to think
fucking
of
love
what
that
would
game.
be a good example.
I miss cabinet games.
Me too.
I really enjoyed cabinet
Yeah.
games.
Get an emulator, man. Thousands of games.
There's
it's
something
different.
about-
Yeah.
Being at the
Build a
cabinet.
cabinet.
What?
Yeah.
Build a cabinet.
I
Couple
know.
$100.
It's been like a
Like,
back of my head fantasy project for years.
Me too.
yeah.
Me too.
I had
man,
the space.
it exactly. It's a space thing because I don't want I would prefer to have multiple cabinets. To Be fair.
Absolutely. If
Is it
you're
really,
going to do
though?
it, you need a room.
Yeah,
Need
I
a
think
basement.
so. Or garage.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like 3 foot square. Put it in a corner.
That's kind of a big deal. That is a
Yeah.
piece of furniture.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
You don't need a table.
Yes, we do. we're currently using it to podcast.
Look at all the stand, right? That's all the rage
I'm just gonna
nowadays.
hold the laptop and the mixer, and you guys hold the arms.
Standing tables, right?
Sure.
It
That's still a table.
Increases workplace dynamic efficiency and optimizes subroutines.
If we're
I'd use laptop
standing,
with
I'm
my
not going to
face.
hold nothing. I'm just going to float it with my mind.
Oh, well, I mean, why aren't you floating everything with your mind? Let's get a cabinet here.
I
Lazy
could. I just don't
bitch.
want to.
Oh, fine. Whatever.
I
We
almost
got the table. That's why.
saw the coolest bug fight the other day. It's going to be a shitty story. But it was praying mantis season. Bugs like to spawn in waves, and we had a couple mantipodes, mantipodes, manticlei.
I have
don't know
no
what
idea.
the Greek or Latin root is.
Mantis.
Mantises.
We had a couple of
Yeah.
praying manti.
Praying manta.
Praying manta.
So blonde one and a green one, and we came around the corner, and they were just staring at each other. And like, I turned the light on, and I start chanting World Star, and Adam didn't know what World Star was, and I had to explain World Star to him.
Wait,
they're just-
how? He's an internet kid. How does
Yeah,
that
I know,
Right?
there's only, like,
Seriously,
eight-
that was the most
that is-
surprising
that's
thing
weird.
I've heard.
Like, it
tonight.
still
I had to
exists.
try to explain it to him was being like as least racist as possible, because I didn't just want to say
Sure.
it's a site where black people fight each other, but I mean, I guess there's also white people fighting each
There
other
are
on
also
there
white
too
people
now.
fighting each other.
It's
a site where people fight. each
acceptable
other.
Yeah.
world nowadays. But now they're raising their arms at each other and shit, and then like our attention distracted them, and they both just wandered off. I was really disappointed. It's like, this is like real life Pokemon. This would have been
Won't
so cool.
fight for an audience.
Yeah.
It's rude, dude.
Mhm.
Show up on your doorstep, start fronting,
Yeah.
and then stop.
Pretty much.
Rude. Fresh
Yeah.
stepping away.
It was bug.
Everybody's
fucking
gangster
season
till the
recently.
giant pink fleshy god beings show up with their cameras.
Yeah, I guess that's how it always is.
Like 2 weeks ago, I spent way too much time watching these two bugs fucking each other on the screen of my window.
Those are the beetles we were talking about the other
Yeah,
day.
like the little red butt beetles.
Having the little, were the elder box beetle?
It looked
I think is what we
no,
said they
not
were.
the beetle though, right? Elderbox bugs, right? Or
Well,
are they,
they
are
are
beetles?
beetles.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
beetles.
When in doubt, every bug's a beetle. They're almost all
it looked
beetles.
violent. Like for such a small thing making no noise, there was a lot of struggle happening. Like
So-
a lot of kicking.
They attach at the butt,
I
right?
imagine-
Little
Yeah.
butt orgies.
Yeah.
I imagine there has to be noise. You just need.
Well, you just
know,
have to be on that level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd love to hear what
Would you?
Bugs boning sounds like. Yes, I'm absolutely interested.
Get
I
a
wanna
couple
hear Bugs
little
Bone.
splinters and bang them together. 'Cause that's
Well,
probably
I
what it
don't
sounds
feel like that's very scientific.
Scaled up drumsticks.
I don't feel like that might be less scientific.
There was a video of them putting bugs in a really soundproof, quote unquote, room, really low sound. Like you could hear maggots writhing and ants
Oh.
walking on a wall
That-
or on a thing.
That's what it gives me.
What are
the
those?
creeps.
Are anechoic chambers?
And echoic, yeah.
Yeah.
Anechoic.
Oh,
They had a
I
slug
want
in
a
it.
good one.
Still couldn't hear the slug.
Interesting.
They are, for all intents and purposes, entirely silent. They make no
Cool.
noise. But I mean,
Stealth
the
bugs.
ant walking around, it sounded like someone hitting a snare drum.
It's like
That's
ta ta ta
awesome.
ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
I have to check that out. That sounds
And
interesting.
the maggots just sound like someone stirring sour cream.
Ugh.
Gross.
Yeah.
That gives me that like made me.
Yeah,
shiver.
me too, a little bit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of lost my composure there for a second. Ah, man, just got way too turned on.
Speaking of bugs, which are related to life, which is related to everything, so this topic makes sense. More evidence there might be life on Venus. You guys follow that story about the
No.
Life
weird
on
clouds?
Venus?
So
Like just women. right?
Venus, what?
Just women.
Yeah, it's all women, and they're all laughing at salads and yogurt, right? No, Venus has some weird ass clouds, and from what I read and what I looked into, long story short, given their composition, we're not entirely sure why they act the way they do. Either they're their own person, they don't need no man, or they're made up of something weird. There's a couple possibilities, but Carl Sagan back in the day speculated that it might be microscopic life. And something happened recently with the clouds. They looked into it again and said that it's down to like 3 possible things: one of these chlorides, some kind of sulfur compound, or straight up microbial life. That's because it absorbs solar energy, and it's
So it's
sucking up a
doing
lot of the
something with
heat.
it.
Yeah, and I had this article pulled up here, but yeah, it's just like it's something worth looking into. That there might be like entire continent spanning global plumes of microbacterial life on Venus.
We went looking the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have gone in, not out.
We have microbial life that can thrive in acidic conditions, can feed on carbon
Sure.
dioxide and produce sulfuric acid here on Earth. And that's what Venus is. It's CO2 and sulfuric acid.
Aren't there microbes
I'm
that can
drinking Venus
survive
right
in
now.
space?
They're
Ooh.
exophiles,
Yeah.
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 There's a lot of them.
Acidic.
Very acidic.
Like water bears.
Right. Yeah. That's what I think. That's what I was
Tardigrades.
thinking. Yeah.
They get a bit more attention than they kind of deserve. They're
Well,
not
sure.
impervious, but they're pretty crazy. But yeah, I just thought it was neat that like we were sitting here looking for life on Mars. Meanwhile, Venus is just fronting. The whole damn thing's covered in bugs.
Venus has got the best kombucha.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
you know,
It's one large. What do they call them? A
mother.
There's a word for it. Smoby.
Scoby.
Scoby. Something colony of bacteria. The letter I don't know. I don't. That's a thing.
Yeah,
It's an acronym for something.
fucking
Scoby.
hipster nerd.
Yeah.
Scoby
Kombuchas.
molds.
Hey man, I watch Bon Appetit. Got Brad on there.
Yeah,
It's alive.
dude.
It ends in Y, actually. It's SCOBY.
Oh, okay.
So speaking
Of bacteria and yeast.
Yep.
It's a sexy colony of bacteria.
Speaking of the thing you just
Sensuous,
said,
Bread.
consensual
Yeah.
orgy
Bon
of
appetit.
bacteria.
yeah, Bon Appetit. Good Eats is back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Did you guys watch
watched
that?
it. Oh yeah, it's
Ah,
so good.
It's so good. I fucking love that show.
Made chicken parmesan.
Yeah,
Was it? Yeah.
chicken parmesan.
Made it in
Yeah.
an interesting way. I was
What,
Yeah.
with
that's
the legit tomatoes?
well, not only that, just the way you do the chicken, so it's not all like soggy shit ass bullshit by
Yeah.
the time you go to eat it.
Oh, because the sauce.
yeah.
It's the sauce that's the difference.
Yeah.
Instead of making like a runnier
well,
sauce.
you,
and
the
stuff.
Bake the
biggest thing was
sauce.
making it like a paste, but
yeah,
he
that's the key.
made little thin. You minimize the amount of layers you have. You make the chicken as thin as possible.
Mhm.
He had a specific way of breading it, and then the sauce was like practically
Yeah.
spackle.
Well, I mean,
Which
he
sounds
baked
fantastic.
the sausage
Oh, yeah.
by itself before adding the chicken.
Yeah, the sauce was separate, and
Yeah.
then there was just a little bit of a bake at the end.
Yeah.
Like I get that he prepares the chicken differently, but at the end of the day, it's the low moisture content of the sauce. You're not
Yeah.
just throwing it into a pool of
Yep.
marinara,
Tomato
marinara
water.
sauce. Yeah.
Which is, would you prefer it to be in a pool of marinara?
No, because like the best marinaras are thick.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the
That's fair.
reason that
It's
I will
because-
make special trips to Papa Murphy's just to get a side of their marinara
That
sauce.
fucking like wall paint marinara.
Yeah, even like
Yeah.
if I get Domino's bread bites, I will stop by Papa Murphy's
Yeah.
and get their marinara sauce.
Yeah.
One, they'll give me that cup dish for free.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't get a pizza, they're just like, "Oh yeah, sure, here you go,"
Oh,
because
that's
they're super
fucking
nice.
awesome.
And it's 50 cents usually per little cup of their runny ketchup
Yeah.
that most places serve.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're getting like a full cup worth of marinara.
Yeah.
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 Like some actual fruit vegetables went into that, whatever the fuck tomatoes are.
It doesn't have any vegetable bones.
It doesn't have those, which is nice because they're. I'm gonna get to gonna display my nerdiness about the pizza that I eat. The Papa Murphy's cheese wheels come with a marinara cup, but that marinara cup is different than the marinara sauce they use on their pizza,
Right.
and that stuff is very runny
Mhm.
and it has fruit bones in it. For the uneducated, that's chunks of fruit or vegetables or whatever the fuck. What the fuck is a tomato?
A tomato
It
is a fruit.
botanically a fruit, culinarily a vegetable.
Yeah.
Botanically, almost everything's a fucking fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
so,
pumpkins are berries and shit. It's
Mhm.
weird.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's safe really to call them whatever.
Culinary, they're
Yeah.
a vegetable.
Okay.
They're red whatevers.
It's produce.
Right. Just a red, it's a red whatever. So it's got chunks of it and stuff. So I've always, and I mean, I worked at Papa Murphy's for a few months when I was younger,
Yeah.
and it's just a night and day difference. They come in they're different manufacturers of each one, and one of them is just a big wet bag with chunks in it,
Yeah.
and the other one is like a thick paste that they put on their pizza. I'm like, why would I ever not choose this? It has seasonings and stuff in it. It's
Mhm.
amazing. Now, I'll also say the cheese wheel one is not bad. It's just, I mean, the flavor wise and stuff, it tastes good.
Yeah.
The chunks are even good. And I'm not a big
Sure.
tomato guy. I'll eat it on occasion.
Yeah.
But it's we're losing that texture of the paste.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Texture's a lot.
I agree with you.
When in doubt, you can always just put it in a pot and cook it down for a minute.
Yeah, that's
The runny stuff,
Yeah.
the
'cause-
runny stuff won't thicken up. I guarantee you that there's so much water in that you're just going to end up with chunks of vegetable.
Oh, that's fair.
Like I can't elaborate like how runny it actually
Tomato
is.
tears.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
basically.
probably because it is actually
Tomato
watered
juice.
down with water and not
It may very
tomato
well be.
juice or
Oh,
tomato
yeah.
puree,
Yeah.
right?
Like even when you look at it and stuff in the container, it looks clearer than it should
Mhm.
be. It's
Yeah.
not like a red paste.
Yeah.
It might not even be technically like a marinara. It might be. They could call it
a
whatever they want.
marinara.
Tomato.
that
Tomato water.
it's almost the same consistency as the pizza sauce they use at Abby's. Because have you ever seen like your pizza made at Abby's?
It's very thin.
No, but I mean, don't they use the same
it's
stuff
it's
that
super
comes
thick.
in the dipping cups for the breadsticks?
No, it's totally different.
Oh, that stuff's amazing.
Yeah, it is, but what they use on the pizza is thicker.
It's thicker than the dipping stuff.
It's super thick. Yeah, you wouldn't believe how thick this is. They actually use a like a giant paintbrush, like a really wide paintbrush, to spread it on the pizza.
Sure. Well, I mean, imagine a brush is the preferred application at a lot of places.
Ladle.
I imagine.
Usually it's a ladle, and then you spread
but
it with the bottom
you
of the
can
ladle.
scoop it with a paintbrush, and it doesn't like drip off the sides.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's super thick.
Now ladles are weird, but if you watch most pizza places, you'll get a ladle full of sauce. They dump it.
I worked
in
at
the
Papa Murphy's. I know how to ladle
Yeah.
sauce on a pizza.
Well,
I just
you-
like I can only think of 2 places where I've ever actually seen people make pizzas, and it's
Oh,
like
okay.
Papa Murphy's and what was the other one?
Abby's, because you can see them making.
Yeah, Abby's. I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't.
Yeah.
I never.
Golden Spike Pizza. Do you guys remember that place?
I remember it. I never went there.
It
though.
was really good, but they also had like a window to watch the one guy that made all the pizzas make the pizzas.
It's got to be weird.
Well, if you're a kid, he'd throw the dough at you.
Fazari's
the
Pizza
window.
in
Yeah.
Clarkston, Washington, which was right next to Lewiston, also had the same thing. I remember as
Yeah.
a kid, it was fun to go there and watch them
Mhm.
make the pizzas.
Yeah, we went there. Man, this just shows our schools, like our school system in action locally. We went there on a field trip
To a
Dude.
pizza place.
to a pizza place,
I'm
which
all aboard.
that's a great field trip looking back on it. But like education wise, we watched a guy make pizza.
Yeah.
You know, like
You know, statistically,
yeah,
Right.
I
a few
have.
of them are going to. I mean,
Well,
You
I've worked
yourself.
at a pizza place. You've worked at a pizza
Yeah.
place.
I have made pizzas at a place.
Yeah.
yeah. I've
No
worked at
pizza place
places that
work?
serve
No, I've
pizzas.
not worked
Yeah.
at a pizza
so that's a
place.
skill, you know, come in handy.
Hey man, it did.
Honestly,
At the end of the day,
it does feel badass to be able to toss that dough really well.
I've
I
never,
never
tossed dough.
dough.
Oh, I did. I got good at it. It was
Yeah.
fun.
I really love the little machine that they have at Mod Pizza that spins their dough out.
I haven't actually seen that.
Because
Mhm.
like at Papa Murphy's, you know, all your bread proofs after it's been mixed in the mixer and whatnot, and your bread lumps, and you put it in the fridge and stuff. It proofs for like a day, and then you come out and you put it through. What do they call it? I don't remember what they called it, but essentially you like feed it into the top.
It's like a stretcher.
It's a stretcher. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is.
It's like a
And
couple of dowels that
Yeah.
are squeezing
It's all
through.
enclosed, so I don't know what's going
Okay.
on in there. And then it gets
Gremlins.
roughly side. You got to do a little bit of stretching to get it to the size of the trays that they come on.
Sure.
But at Mod, they literally take that bread lump, stick it on this spinny disc, close this top thing, and it just and
Just a
spins it out,
centrifuge?
and just that's done.
That's
I
cool.
think it presses while spinning,
Okay.
and they'll do that as they need them for
Yeah.
customers coming in.
So
I'm
they
like,
just got the
"God,
dough
that is
balls
cool.
ready to roll.
Yeah.
yeah.
That is
it's
cool.
freaking awesome. It's a cool machine.
I do like that we're growing in the amount of food options that we have here. I wish there were more local options.
I was talking to the Victory Dog guy and stuff, and he's talking about how he's one of the original food truck people down
Which
there.
is becoming like a phenomenon in our area.
That's what I say. It's like
Like, they're
now,
growing
like it
huge.
used to be me and like 3 other people,
Yeah.
like Jolie's Bento and whatnot,
Mhm.
and now he's like there's like 22
Yeah.
in the valley. So,
Yeah, they're going faster than any other like restaurant.
which I want to give a shout out because I personally love Victory Dogs.
Shit, yeah.
Not enough people eat it. If you get a chance, you're in Medford, go eat at Victory Dogs.
Yeah, it's a great time.
not just a standard hot dog.
Yep.
It's like number 3 in the world.
What
he
are those?
got
What's
rated.
that intersection? What is it? 6th and
That is
Central.
First
Central?
side.
Central and Sixth.
Central
yeah.
and 6th. Central and 6th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out Victory Dogs.
Yeah.
I don't recommend failure dogs. His direct competitor.
It's just across the street. You
He
usually
just-
can't
he
find
just
them.
cries the
Yeah,
whole
they're
time.
pretty salty hot dogs.
Yeah.
Which, sometimes you're in the mood for, but most of the time, not so much.
Yeah, that actually hits on a lot of topics about running small business that as an average person you don't think about unless you run into it a lot. And he's been doing that for 4 something years now.
Yeah.
You have to hustle.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
the thing.
yeah.
Is like he talks about, like
Yeah.
he makes just enough, and it's so unreliable of when he's going to get business
Mm-hmm.
that he can't hire somebody
Yeah.
Yeah.
to work there. Because like if he has somebody he's paying to work there and then he has a slow day, that immediately cuts into his overhead too
Mhm.
much. So it's like he has to be out there all the time himself.
Mm-hmm.
If he ever wants a day off, that's a day his company is not making money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
No, restaurants are not a fun endeavor.
No, yeah, margins for small scale restaurants are just abysmal.
It's a danger zone.
It is.
I think that is the popularity of the food trucks, though, is that the overhead is obviously much lower.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then if you do decide to take a day off or whatever, then you're obviously not losing out on as much of that opportunity cost.
When I don't see a food truck parked where it normally is, I'm like, okay, maybe they're doing an event.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
they're
that
you know,
happens.
maybe they're elsewhere. It does, yeah. I mean, there was when we had that country music festival, like that 3-day festival. All the food trucks were there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We hired one at our work one Friday.
Yeah.
Had them over.
We have a permanent one in front of the Army Navy surplus store.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
We actually, the owner of the Army Navy surplus store built them like a metal awning and stuff to give a little seating area there. But it's just, it's like tacos may something or other. I should know. I eat there like
Our
3 times a
tacos may
week.
please you.
A guy I work with who's from Colorado, he was talking about the number of breweries that they have in Colorado. It's just like there's a shit ton of them. And something that's common for the food truck owners out there to do is they'll like just park, because a lot of the law out there is, you know, if you're serving beer, you don't need to serve food necessarily.
Right.
Which here you have to be serving
Yeah.
food. So a lot of the times these food trucks will post up in these brewery parking lots and be selling right outside the brewery.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, that's got to be a pretty stable
It must be some city ordinances that are preventing the food trucks from getting out. I think they're the only place they can really sell is in parking lots, right? And we don't have a lot of those in like downtown where all of our bars are.
Well, we don't really have a good centralized. I mean, the bars now I'd say are fairly centralized.
They are, but I think there are just fewer bars
Yeah.
than there were. I think in the day of like Shenanigans was like prime bar time. That's when we had the most bars open, and they were all open downtown.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about population and its ability to support X amount of food trucks as
Yeah.
well.
There's a direct correlation, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we're like, I think because it got so popular so fast, I imagine a lot of these food trucks are barely scraping by.
Yeah.
You know, unless they get out, they're willing to hit a lot of events.
Although there seems to be a demand for it.
I fucking love it.
I do too.
I think it's a great business model because if you like say you're normally stacked up in a place all day, you could think like, okay, well I know there's a construction site
Mm-hmm.
that they're building a new addition to the manor,
Yeah.
and be like, well I'll just roll over there
Totally.
around like noon,
Yeah.
and that'd be fantastic.
For
Furthermore, in the Rogue Valley, like, there's a lot of weekend events.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know?
But there's also our area is addicted to fast food, and I think that kind of kills a little bit of the traffic. There's something wrong with our food culture, and
I actually watched a really good documentary on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
what I think is going to happen in our not even necessarily in our area. So I think food trucks nationally are kind of taking off, right? Like there seems to definitely be like a demand for food trucks like everywhere.
You want to hear why Uncrustables are calzones?
But how is that a debate? That seems perfectly legitimate.
Yeah.
It's a
So-
calzone.
There was this. You guys might have seen it back in the day on Reddit. Someone made a sandwich alignment chart.
No,
It was ingredient purist, ingredient neutral, ingredient rebel, structure purist, and it caused a lot of uproar. Anyways, the guy who made it went full bore and made the cube rule of food. So imagine a wireframe of a cube, right?
Okay.
If you have a single layer on the bottom, that's in the category toast. So
Okay.
a pie slice, nigiri sushi, and pizza are all toast. It's a line with something on it. If there's something on the top, you now have a sandwich, the bottom and the top of the cube. So you've got lasagna, toast, actual toast with like peanut butter and jelly, and quesadillas. If you have the walls on the bottom, it's a taco. So a full slice of pie, a Subway sandwich, or a hot dog. If all the walls are there, it's sushi. So like a falafel, pigs in a blanket, or an enchilada. If everything but the top is covered, it's a quiche, like cheesecake, a soup bowl, or a falafel pita. And finally, if all walls are covered, it's a calzone, like burritos, corn dogs, full pies, dumplings, Pop-Tarts, and Uncrustables. It's it's hard to argue with that.
I think
No,
there's
I think
some-
it'd be very easy to argue with that if you just picked it apart.
I think plenty of it makes sense, but
Yeah.
I want to start with toast. Toast implies that something is toasted. I think just by name alone.
Yeah.
I think that's an absolute.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
cannot
I-
have anything.
I think it's
that
a
is
bad
toast
name for
without
that
it being
category.
toast.
Yes, it needs a rename.
So then what's a name for something that is just the bottom of the cube? It's something,
bottom cube.
I don't want to
Single
call
plane-
pizza
single-
bottom cube.
Single plane foods.
There you go.
Single
Grass.
plane.
That sounds very
Single
PC.
plane.
Right.
Okay.
That
Yes.
sounds like there's a really dirty word for it, like toast.
The whole idea is that each of these planes that is being occupied is considered like a layer.
Right.
Yeah.
So with this example, with no layers, you have a salad. So a plain steak, mashed potatoes, and fried rice are all salads.
Dude, I'll eat
Because
I'll eat
they're
salad all day.
uncontained, right? Yeah, it's
That's not a bad way of really like
just you
to break it
consider
into-
how many walls of your food cube are being contained and then give a name to each of those categories. Toast, arguably not a good name for a single plain cover, but
I mean, if you ever wanted to quantify foods by their walls,
Yeah.
like their containment, then,
He's got to start for sure.
What we need now is 4-dimensional food.
we do just make it and wait.
well, I mean, you also you
Just eat
you have
over
foods
time.
that break
Yeah.
those rules. I would
Yeah.
like sushi was on there multiple times, but you also have sushi that is entirely enclosed
Right.
Yeah.
and still has stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
Well, and I was confused why.
Oh, yeah, what would you call
What was
that?
it?
Well, see,
Four
the
walls and a
stuff is-
exterior.
The stuff isn't important. It's the
How it's contained.
containers. So if you were to have 2 cubes of containers on top of one another, then you need a new category, right? So I'm thinking like if you had
So a Big Mac would qualify, right?
shepherd's pie. So you've got ground
That's the
beef,
same
tomato
thing.
sauce, and like green beans, whatever you put in the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's in a thing. And then there's potatoes on top of that. But then there's cheese on top of that. That's like a double top layer.
But isn't that
But
just
it's
all
still
filling?
just a single plain food, right?
Yeah, it's like a casserole dish, right? You
Well, no,
basically-
but under his categories, shepherd's pie would be a plain food, right? As a toast.
I would think it would
I think
be
that's
an
toast.
inverted toast because the containment layer is on top.
Inverted toast. I like that phrase, and I'm not sure exactly what to use it for.
That reminds me of
But
the
I wanna hold
paradoxical
on to
thing
it.
that we read when we were kids.
Oh, buttered toast?
Yeah, you
Oh my God! I'm interjecting now. Did you know that they made pocket butter?
what?
What?
Yes. So we talked
You
about
mean
making
lube?
the fake. No.
Oh.
So Andy and I were talking about having playing around with doing some like pseudo advertisements for
Okay.
sponsors of our podcast. Of course, the first one we'd love to do was pocket butter,
Yeah.
as which for the listeners just some nonsense thing we made up one night. Drew a whole picture for it and advertising, and somehow roped Colin to being like the fat devil mascot for it. So I'm listening to Joe Rogan, and in the initial part of his podcast, he's talking about this freaking nut butter that you keep in your pocket in like a little packet for like a protein
Emergency.
load or something like that. Nut butter for protein loads.
Nut
I'm-
butter for protein
Dude,
loads.
I'm
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the whole time he's talking about it, but at the same time, I'm like, they literally made pocket butter,
They did.
but they named it something stupid. I don't remember. It's like he's talking about how you can whip out this little packet and add it to various foods you eat. It's like gluten free, vegan. It's literally everything on the list, pretty much.
They probably called it bag margarine.
I think it's nut something,
Okay.
and I just got I was both like amazed that somebody made pocket butter so they could butter that bitch.
I hope they're called squeeze nuts. That'd be good.
But so many better names. Like I was just, they freaking made it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to interject that because it blew my mind that somebody freaking made pocket butter.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Did we ever remember what that commercial was for where the guy was talking about death crystals?
Oh man, I feel like it was. Like
He was on a
shampoo.
lawn-
He was on a
Yeah,
lawnmower.
But that was irrelevant.
Wasn't it
to-
tires? It was tires.
I feel like we associated it with
With-
tires. That was
yeah.
like the first joke we made was like,
Maybe.
get these tires now with less death crystals because you wouldn't want to buy tires with death crystals.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
insurance or something. Yeah, it
Could
was something
be.
dumb.
Okay, let me look up this. I want to find out that sponsor name real quick.
What I want to go back to before you brought up toast, the food trucks.
Mhm.
I think what's going to happen in like 5 years is nationally, Taco Bell is going to be in like the quick service restaurant news for their new innovative food truck. It's going to be a rolling Taco Bell.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's just going to happen, dude. I think
I mean,
I think
didn't
all the
they-
fast food places are going to do
I'm trying
that.
to remember of like old Taco Bell advertising.
I'm
and I
sh-
seem to
I know-
recall on their commercials they would have like a party bus that like showed up in a lot of their
So
commercials.
yes,
right?
they did. Yeah, they
Okay.
actually had a bus that was going around like nationally, but it was like 1 or 2 buses.
Okay.
Want your diarrhea, but don't want to come here? Don't worry, we'll come to you.
Yeah, I think that's what they're
Run
gonna
in
do,
place.
I found it.
You found it?
Found it. So first of all, Joe Rogan's sponsor for the travel nut butters is called Superfat.
Super fat.
Yes,
Okay.
That's for the plant-based fats, right?
it's nut butter.
It's the nut
Yeah.
butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they might sell other plant-based fat products. I could be wrong.
It's
Man.
very possible, but
Why
they called it Superfat.
They should have had like the base is protein load, or they have like the larger size that's like fat load, and they have the smaller one just for the real quick protein that's like little load or
Little super
baby
you gotta have,
load.
like the superstar load.
Man, why they
Yeah,
missed out on
they
an
call it
opportunity.
freaking. You put nut butter in your
Yeah,
pocket and you
dude.
call it Superfats.
And then you
Get
call
the fuck
each
out.
different
Yeah.
size packet a different load type.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what he's
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I,
yeah, dude.
I'm agreeing with
I
you.
want
think
I
it's
want to have a
brilliant.
bag that I carry in my pocket that says fat load.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to unload a fat load in my mouth.
You got a little wad,
Fat protein load of
Yeah.
nut
little
Nut
wad,
butter.
nut butter.
little wad,
Yeah, that would have
fat
been a way better
load,
way to go.
and
Beefcake load.
throwable rope. I don't know.
throw rope.
The lifeline load.
How about the single slinger?
Oh God. The death crystals is from a Head and Shoulders commercial.
No, so it was shampoo.
Yeah.
It was shampoo.
No, I heard that the other day. Someone referred to ejaculation as spit and rope. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, ugh.
Dude, I love the visual that comes from
Yeah,
that
it's just,
because that's what you're doing.
I mean, we get into a whole rabbit hole about researching how to increase load quantity that I went down.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it comes down to throwing rope.
throw and rope.
The end goal.
So, on the topic of throwing rope, how about we take a break?
Oh, breaks are fantastic.
All right,
Get off this fucking task before I get roped into shit.
It's
All right,
weird.
We'll be right back after we throw some rope. Hey everyone, Andy here. I just wanted to take a quick second to remind you guys that we can always be found on btpodcast.com, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Google Play Music, and anywhere else you might listen to your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube a day later if that's your thing. We don't have video yet, but we would very much love to in the future. And of course, you can always help us get there by remembering to subscribe, like, comment, or review our podcasts anywhere you listen. But beyond all that stuff, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you all for listening, making the Balcony Time podcast part of your week. We love doing this for you, and our community has been so great to us. So give yourself a pat on the back, and I'll quit talking so you can get back to listening. Now back to the Balcony Time podcast. So are you guys ready to play some $1 Million Butt?
Fuck yeah, I am.
Do we all know
Sure.
what $1 Million Butt is?
Explain it.
My butt's not worth $1 million.
All right, so you are given a scenario. You get $1 million, but, and then there is an explanation continuing that.
Like
Kind of-
like a contingency
Yes.
or a caveat.
Yes.
Okay.
Give him an example.
So $1 million, but every time you poop, it comes flying out at 55 miles an hour.
Oh, that sounds painful
But it,
and messy.
But it's not painful.
let's say it
Sounds
doesn't
messy.
physically hurt you, but it is messy as
Yeah.
shit, pun intended.
It's probably gonna break toilets.
It might.
If you're gonna spend that $1 million on replacing toilets, I don't do it.
Gotta
So,
find a new way to poop.
But that's what
Okay,
you're.
I
Yeah,
got- I
that's
get
what,
it.
So that's what the
All
deal
right, I
is.
gotcha.
Okay. This game kind of popularized by Rooster Teeth.
Invented by them, right?
I don't know if it's invented. I think that's kind of a common discussion amongst people, but $1 million, but they have a show and a game based on it. So, let's.
Well, thanks for letting us play your game, guys.
let's give it a shot.
What do you mean they have a game based on it?
They have a card game like
Cards Against Humanity?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're just looking at the subreddit $1 million, but
So the first one here, Nick and I already kind of talked about a little bit, and we kind of know each other's answers. But $1 million, but you de-age to 15 for an entire year, but you retain all your memories and experiences, so you have to live as a teenager all over again.
Done. That's easy.
Yeah, super easy.
I was of the same
I do it.
opinion. You get to relive your life with all your modern knowledge and try to fix your biggest mistakes.
There is
No.
no disadvantage.
You don't get to go back to when you were 15. You're 15 for a year. Then you go back to normal.
You de-age.
Oh.
Yeah. If it's a backwards in time thing, I'm on board, but we could get into the...
Yeah, you're
Well, then
15 at now.
Oh, okay. So you
And
just
then-
suddenly become physiologically 15.
Yeah.
for a year.
Like I would now be 15.
I don't know. You might have some major problems with like identity, like when it comes to banking and
I don't
whatnot.
care. I
Nah.
mean, I could just take a year off from interacting with society.
You couldn't use your ID at all. Yeah, you just have
Dude,
to.
the only difference between me and 15-year-old me is like I would look like I
drink
just got
beer.
hair implants.
Yeah.
So
I'd
be
miss the
fine.
beard. I mean,
Yeah.
I would not have my beard. That'd be sad.
Oh, that's
If-
true. I'm kind of doing
If
this
people
thing.
found out, you'd be captured by the government.
But also,
you
if you had a
literally have
genie,
to just-
you'd be captured by the government.
Oh, let's not get into genies.
There's no way they could prove that. They would just think that you're somebody else.
Yeah.
That you're some other 15-year-old. You
Yeah,
could try
I
to
mean,
say I'm
that's true.
Russ Paulson,
Yeah.
yeah.
but they'd be like, no, you're not. That guy's 32 years old.
It would be kind of weird, like if they try to like ask your friends, like, does this look like the Andrew Mayfield that you know? And they're like, whoa.
What do you tell your
Looks like the Andrew Mayfield I knew.
Well, I mean, but so I'd tell all of my network of friends,
See,
right?
we're the kind
Except
of
for the
group
one that I miss.
I think I could grok that. If 15-year-old Andy came up to me, I'd be confused at first, but
Yeah.
it's within my realm of
Sure.
reasonable.
Fuck, all it would take is like, yeah, somebody did $1 million, but
Yeah, right.
And I
Yeah.
took the easy
Yeah.
answer. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Can
Got
I have
$1
some
million,
money?
but this is the caveat. Well, that, when we start getting into like, can I have some of that? Like, I'll lie for anybody, to anybody about your age, as long as you give me like $100,000.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is you're 15. I'll just beat you up and take your money.
No, so here's the thing.
No, I was way more fit when I was 15. Get out of here.
$1 million is not enough to where I could be frivolous with giving my friends money.
No.
Like that money has to be
Not
planned
frivolous.
for accordingly.
Yeah.
Like I would make sure that we were all doing a ton of fun shit.
Yeah.
But it's not like you guys all get to quit your jobs money.
No,
No.
not at all. I don't even think I'd quit my job at $1 million.
Oh,
I would.
probably.
I'd be
Could
playing
invest it
poker.
and do a decent job and not having to work much.
Andy would be back to work in a year.
I absolutely I would be. Yeah, absolutely I would be.
Remember that time I had $1 million, guys?
Yep, that went quick.
Yeah.
Once
All
again,
right.
we've had
I
this
played
discussion
with
though.
it.
It's not necessarily that, like we would keep working. We would go to work for ourselves.
Yeah, that's
the
exactly
big
what I'd
thing,
do.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
You
I'd
just have
ride
$1
which is-
million
I'd podcast full time.
A
capital
different kind
to-
of work.
Yeah,
I'd
for
ride
sure.
water slides 7 days a week.
I would
Man, that
still be
harkens
seeking
back.
an alternative income, but I would do it without working for somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. There'd have to be some kind of income, right? Because like $1 million is a lot of money, even generally speaking, over a lifetime.
It's a lot more money in some other countries too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You could stretch
For
that
sure.
a long time.
absolutely.
If
It
you're
could.
willing to live in.
Yeah,
Here's a good
place.
question: how little money would it take for you to de-age to 15 for a year?
I do that for free, dude.
I do that for $1 million.
$1 million is the
Fucking
what it would
cool.
Yeah, I
take.
do it. I do it for $1 million.
I mean,
You
would
do
it
it for-
be
Andy
cool
would do it for
after
free.
the
It'd be
after
cool.
the first week? Would it really be cool? Suddenly you're having to go through puberty again, and you're all scrawny and shit and tiny.
How
I'm
do
pretty
you,
scrawny already. Like,
what do
yeah,
you
but,
do for a
like-
year, making no money?
You can't work.
You can't work.
Why not? You only look 15.
You can't get a job. How are you going to prove
Well, I already have a job.
you can't go to
no,
work?
no. Andy Mayfield has a job. Fucking Andrew, 15-year-old, does not have a job. If you walked into Best Buy showing up for your normal shift and this 15-year-old kid showed
Yeah.
up, they'd be like, no.
Dude, look at pictures of me from
I'm
when I
telling
was
you,
15
man.
years old.
You don't look the same.
Oh.
It doesn't work that much.
No, it'd be fine. I'd be like, it was a really good long weekend. So what's going on? Like, I'd be able to walk in and explain where I was when I left.
No, they'd
last
call
time.
the cops.
I'd be fine. Yeah, I'd be fine.
I don't
don't
believe
think so.
you.
I
be
was
fine.
I was a little confused how the question was phrased because it says you de-age to 15 for a year, but then you have to live as a teenager again
For that year.
for only the year.
And then, like,
Okay.
after the end of the year, you're back to being whatever age. you
Okay,
were.
no. So my kick, I would not do it for just a year for free. But if I go back to like 15 and just
And
kind of
live out
have
15
have
on.
an extra 16 or so years onto
The
my
thing
life.
is
Oh,
you
a
don't have
redo?
to, like,
yeah,
that's-
like
that's
no
an
problem.
easy
And not even going
answer.
back in time. Like if it was just like boom, here you go. All right, you're back 15 years physically.
Think about
I
all the
wouldn't do
logistics, though. Like, you would technically need to be in school, but
I
you,
wouldn't.
You'd be required by law to be in school.
Fuck
there's
the
a
law.
curfew for people.
I'm
under
magic.
16.
I'm magic. I
Yeah.
just de-aged 15 years. I'm not going to listen to him.
You're
You don't have laser powers.
unregistered
right?
15-year-old running
Yeah.
around.
You'd
I
get-
feel like
Then-
that's an advantageous position.
Then
to
I'd just
be
pull
in.
out my ID and I'd be like, no, I'm 31, asshole.
and they'd say, "Where'd you get this fake ID?"
Yeah.
Right, I'd have a great fake
It'd be
ID.
fine.
That'd be awesome,
You'd get put in a foster
and it'd be a
home.
real. I would-
How do you prove that you're a
because I'm still
actually a
mentally
32-year-old?
I'm still mentally myself, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to stay in a foster home.
So, but like your ID is no longer valid
Yeah,
Why not?
because
you're
well,
not
no,
a
I know that.
32-year-old.
No, I know it's not like necessarily valid, but it could still work.
I don't.
Well,
know
you,
if
you
I could.
de-aged to 15. You were not. You were
You
not
don't look
again
the same.
15.
Sure, but I've had fake IDs that like work.
Yeah.
Right. Like even
So
though
the
it's
whole
not,
idea is you'd have to make it 3
my
years
age.
until you're 18. If
It's
you can
worse
find a
than
way to
that.
survive until you're 18, then you're an adult. But then you go to apply for like a new ID. I guess you still have your same social security number,
Yeah.
but like, where are you living?
You would have to. It would be. I think it would be slightly difficult until.
why
you
would I have to let
started
my
look
landlord know? Why would I
old
have to let my
enough.
landlord know that I'm 15 again?
Because he stops by to repair something. Who the fuck is this?
Why
kid
is there a
in here?
15-year-old living here?
Calls the
They
cops.
only- they
Where's
only
your
do that.
parents?
They let me know when they do that though.
I
right?
still think our apartment manager would come in and be like, well, "You look different." I'd be like, "Yeah." Well, anyways, so that thing that we talked about with the hole in the bathroom that we talked about, yeah, that still needs to be fixed. And as soon as I brought that up, he'd be like,
I think the biggest thing.
I thought he looked different.
is-
Jesus, that's weird.
The job would be the biggest thing. You can't get away with coming in as a 16-year-old and trying to pretend you are you. It's just not going to work.
No, but you
Nah,
could
that could be
like
fine.
pick something you want to do and just start doing it.
Yeah,
right?
you'd have to
Like,
give up on your current job. And
Sure, no
essentially-
problem.
yeah.
Done.
So I think this is like an exception to where these two, which don't like, they could at least on ID pictures pass for close to looking like they did
We
when they were
would
younger.
not.
No, I'd be
You would-
fucked.
we would look
Oh no,
completely
I could
different.
probably pass with my ID.
I think I could pass too.
I
I
could
would look
not.
like I got
No.
hair plugs, man.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, no one, like, almost besides my closest friends in my immediate circle have seen me clean shaven.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys could not get away with.
we
using
look
your
like
IDs as
entirely
children.
different people
Yeah,
without facial hair.
just
Yeah.
the beard alone.
I don't
Yeah.
look like I shaved and like got some Rogaine. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like your hair came back and you're freshly shaved.
Crow's feet are gone. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really good eye cream.
Do you even have crow's feet?
I don't know. No, dude.
Yeah,
I look
like
so
if you-
fucking young. It's retarded. Yeah.
All right, so
So we went
this
off of
is-
that one for a while. But
Yeah,
Yes.
we did. Yeah, yeah.
It's
a
a good
little
thing
more
about it.
nuanced than I think.
Hit us with
initially
another
thought
one.
about.
Well, that's fine. So that's the every shit, 55 miles an hour.
You have to go back to jacking off like 2-3 times a day, though.
I do that all. I do that, dude. I my lifestyle has changed so little, except for I have more money.
Okay, I'm
I'd
gonna.
probably get laid easier.
You brought up jacking off, so I'm going to talk about this. My dad came over the other day.
Did he walk in on you?
No.
Okay.
God no. I'm an adult. My door's locked.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'll just put it out there. I masturbate probably about once a day.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
more. Sometimes I won't. But it's
little less.
very rare
Average.
that it's very rare that I skip a day.
Right.
And I was talking to my dad about this, and he told me it was too much.
Oh.
It's like you're doing it too much.
Nah.
You're gonna get hairy palms, Russ.
Well, like it wasn't even something weird like that. He just he viewed that as an excessive amount, and I was like, I don't think it is. And like I
No.
googled it, and like, of course, the Google answer is like, as long as it doesn't impact your life, it's
Yeah.
fine.
yeah, it doesn't hurt you.
And I didn't think it was excessive. So I
There's
just thought
some
I'd ask you
studies
guys.
showing that like it is beneficial. It reduces chances, I think, of what's
Like
the
Prostate
cancer.
cancer.
Yeah.
Is the one that.
butt button came to my head.
Yeah, you don't want to get that butt button.
So
inside.
I had a thought the other day. So you recall the intro about the one put her finger on my butt. So that's happened to me one time.
Yeah.
And so this happened when I was a little bit younger and she was a little bit older. And at this point in my life, well, hold on.
Sorry.
Let me get to my thinking here because I sort of had like an epiphany. So when I was younger, like particularly at this age, I could just go in bed like hours on end all night. If a woman wanted to fuck all night, no problem. So you guys have heard like this rumor that like you can stick a finger and hit the right spot in a dude's butt and it'll just make him come, right?
Yeah.
It's called the prostate.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's easy as like depressing a button.
No,
and you
but-
ejaculate.
But there is some of the mythology surrounding
Mhm.
this, right?
Yeah.
Like that is not uncommon to be heard of.
No.
if I was less self-educated via the internet, I can see that being a common
And there are
misconception.
plenty of people who are
Most.
Yes. So my thinking recently, I was thinking about that because I sort of joked about it on the intros the other day, and I was like, I wonder if she's just trying to get me to stop. Like she just had enough.
Could be.
I have had multiple instances where, because like it's a common trope is that we should be going as long as we can. Like growing,
Right.
like that's machismo, macho, go as long as you can.
Yeah.
The sex is better because it went on for a long time. Conversations I had with most women is like 15 minutes
Yeah,
is
you
like a
don't-
good stopping point.
I realized like there was a turning point in my sex life where I realized, oh shit, people don't like have sex for an hour.
yeah,
Like that's not normal.
That's not the goal you're shooting
Yeah.
for. Like every time you have sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is
It was a weird
good thing to get
revelation.
out into the world more common. There's so many misconceptions about intercourse.
Oh,
Yes.
I think in this day and age, like we talked about this before. I don't remember if it was on the podcast. Just how much we learned, at least Andy and I, from Talk Sex with Sue.
Oh shit, yeah.
I was blessed to grow up
There's a
listening to
documentary
that
out
woman.
about her. You should
Really?
watch
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Yeah, for sure.
Good
Sunday
stuff.
night sex show with Sue Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
If you don't know who she is, look her up
Yeah, everybody knows the GIF.
with the dildo chin
The-
strap.
Yeah, the dildo
flopping her
yeah,
mouth.
yeah, that's one of the best gifts, man.
She knows her stuff.
She does. Yeah, she does. Yeah, I don't know. I think there are just, in general, a lot of misconceptions about sex.
Yeah.
Just in general.
So he's done finger in his butt.
Yeah.
Has anybody else tried prostate manipulation?
I've had a lot of prostate orgasms.
No.
Okay. So I've tried on my own.
Mhm.
Like if maybe like 3 times or so to try to get it. It's like I feel like I probably I don't have the right tool.
Sure.
I'm not super flexible and stuff, so it's hard to fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's hard to find a good comfortable
That's
spot
always
to do
been my
it.
thing. Is it's like I don't feel like I'm in a comfortable enough spot where I feel like plunging my butthole.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and
To
it's
get graphic, my middle finger is just barely long enough to
Got
get
it.
there.
to hit on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not comfortable because you have your arms in a weird position.
Sure.
But a prostate orgasm, like if a normal orgasm is like a really good cake with the frosting that you like and it's the right flavor, a prostate orgasm is like someone took a fire hose filled with whipped cream and knocked you over. Right. I don't even know if I would necessarily call it pleasurable at times. It's just this intense wave of just intensity that fucking
Well,
my
and you might not
knees
like
fall
whipped
out.
cream, but you like that cake, right? So it's just it's a feeling.
I think it's at least something someone should try because you literally have the option to experience. It's like experiencing an orgasm for the first time because it's so different. At least for me, it
Interesting.
was. It feels entirely different.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
why I sought it out. I was like, I wanted
Mhm.
people
Well-
talk about this different feeling and stuff. I was like,
Well.
sounds like a fun roller coaster. All right, let's give it a go. But
You-
I think my finger's gonna smell like poop later.
that's the other thing. My butt's full of poop, and I just don't feel like dealing with it. You know.
It's
that's
not
why
something you do every day.
I would probably just shower really well.
it's why
beforehand.
I've only
Yeah,
ever
probably
undertaken
try
that solo because
Yeah.
I don't feel
Mhm.
comfortable involving a partner, even though my partner would probably be more than willing to help me explore that.
Sure.
Yeah.
The concept of a partner having to deal with my own
Butt.
my
I
Your
barely
butt.
like.
My
I like
poo-poo.
barely
Yeah.
touching my hairy butt. You know.
Yeah.
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 I feel
So
that.
yeah, God, being a hairier guy and stuff,
Dude.
my butt crack is the void of unattractiveness on my.
You weren't there when we were talking about wiping, right? You were up in North. When we were
Oh,
talking
but
No,
about
we-
wiping.
no,
I heard your guys' conversations
Yeah.
about, and we've talked about it before on the balcony, so I know.
And we
yeah.
we
I know
did
the
talk about it
arguments.
last week because we committed to getting some Metamucil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the
right.
clean
We were
poops.
gonna-
Yeah.
we were-
I
Which-
have not begun the experiment yet.
I haven't either, but because I've been on antibiotics, I'm taking some probiotics to kind of get the
Regulate.
gut
You should
bacteria.
really wait
yeah.
to take those until your antibiotics are done.
That's
Otherwise
fine.
It's kind of a waste.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a waste, but I want to be in the routine.
Okay.
I want it to be like my
Yeah.
flavor of beverage that I choose, so I got it started early. That honestly, dude, that has made for some really clean wipes.
The antibiotics.
The probiotics.
probiotics.
Yeah, the antibiotics just on those with my kind of regular diet, that was sloppy as fuck.
Are you still on the antibiotic?
Yeah, I have two more days.
Anytime I've been on antibiotic, even if I'm taking probiotics, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But with the
Peeing out my butt.
probiotics, well, what's weird is I was on 2 antibiotics and I just wasn't. I mean, it was looser stool, but not like I'm not waterfall style. So that honestly, that was fine. Whereas my experience with antibiotics previously had always been just a flow. This time is not. I've been fairly regular.
I'm gonna start calling my
Or-
diarrheas chocolate rain.
Gross. Question.
Some stayed dry and others feel the pain.
What kind of probiotic are you taking?
Mostly in the form of those Kavitas
Is
that I
it
was
a
drinking
pill?
earlier.
Oh, it's a drink.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
drink. So it's an apple cider vinegar tonic that I drink 2 of a day.
I was going to say, it's common to find probiotics in pill form.
Yep.
And what's important, and this is something they have to put on the label, is there's an acronym for it. It's like the number of active alive colonies that were in the pill when they made it. And I don't remember the specific numbers, but you see I think 20 to 100,000 is a standard rating. And it's important to know that usually I think it's 80% of that number die before you even take the pill.
Sure.
So if you're buying anything under, I'm pulling numbers out of my ass. It's like 40, 60,000.
Mhm.
Everything's dead by the
Yeah.
time you're eating it.
That doesn't apply to something if you're eating like a yogurt, right?
No,
No.
because that's active, like
Active.
lactobacillia or
Yeah.
whatever,
Okay.
which
And
is
that-
a particular strain.
That's what they were telling me when I was at the doctor's office. Was you can get probiotic like pill form supplements.
Yeah. If you're buying them for $3, you're just eating sugar
Just
pills.
eating money.
Yeah.
If you're
And-
eating
Eating
money.
Right. And what he actually said, better just to introduce it to your diet. With
Oh,
live
yeah.
cultures.
Mhm.
So that's what I've been doing with these. I'm not a huge fan of yogurt.
See, I always go the yogurt route.
See, yogurt is fine, but I like fun yogurts.
I think
Oh.
That's fine too. They
Eat some
make
yogurt.
probiotic fun yogurts.
Yeah, but I'll just drink it. It's fine.
That's fine.
A couple of weeks ago, one of my coworkers came in and he had cultured his own yogurt, like
Mhm.
a batch of yogurt,
Oh, neat.
and he brought it in. And
That's cool.
Got to try that out. It was really good.
What kind
Nice.
did he make?
Just like Greek style yogurt.
High
It was a
protein,
little
low
bit
sugar.
of
He's not sure it grew in his fridge. And
Yeah.
brought it in.
no, straight up.
No, I'm okay.
There's an old thing of Yoplait. It's been in there for about 2 years. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But essentially, that's what you do: is you take an old, like a little bit of old yogurt that's
Yeah.
like your seed batch or whatever, and then it involves adding. Oh, what do you add to it? Just cream or something, I think. Yeah,
for
something
them,
for it to
yeah,
eat.
something
Yeah.
for it to eat, basically, and you have to heat it up to a proper temperature, cool it down for a few minutes, heat it back up for a minute, and then basically just cover it up and put it in the dark.
Uh-huh.
Fucking sourdough that bitch.
Yep.
Basic
Yeah, exactly.
fermenting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, isn't there like a sourdough company in like San Francisco or like the Bay Area that has been using the same sourdough
yeah,
like
sourdough
original for
mother.
like 200 years? or
The
something
mother
like that?
loaf.
That's fucking
What
cool.
it comes down to is they just take a bit of a batch from the previous batch, and that's a
Mhm.
new one.
Yeah.
And it's likely in the same strain. Have you guys ever had homemade sourdough food?
Yes, it's
Like
really,
I've had
really
that San
good.
Francisco
Sourdough.
sourdough that he's
Yeah.
talking about.
I have to. So I know
I
about it.
had a girlfriend whose dad had a sourdough strain he had since the 70s, and he made sourdough waffles.
Sourdough waffle sounds good.
That does sound good.
It's sour, but in like
Yeah.
the best.
I
It's
like sourdough.
way stronger sourdough than I've had in any store-bought sourdough, and it was some of the most delicious
I would want to put
bread
like
product I've ever
strawberries
had.
on it.
See,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I was
that's
I was
what we
just thinking
did.
toppings.
Real
Yeah.
maple syrup, very strong fruit. It was
Mhm.
just so good. But
Straw-
and it's not
uh,
hard to do. You just have to devote yourself to making a sourdough starter.
Yeah.
Fermenting's easy as shit.
And not losing it or killing it over the next 40 years.
yeah.
Most
pretty much.
cooking isn't that hard. It's just the prep work involved in it and then cleaning up afterwards. That's the hard part,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Next question. $1 million, but every time you undress yourself, you swap gender.
Done.
Yeah,
That'd
isn't
be
that one easy?
Fun.
Oh, man.
All you have to do is undress yourself. So, like, if you didn't want to be a dude that day,
Well, let's add a caveat because that's stupid. You can only swap one way once per day. That way, you can't game the system and just redress and undress so that you're back to being your original.
but
sex.
that would mean that you would. That simply means that you would be a different gender every other day.
I think that's a better question. Otherwise, you take your clothes off, you put them back on, you take them off, and you have a free $1 million.
So we're limited
that's
to
a
once day,
superpower,
then?
though. Yeah, I take that.
It's
Like,
definitely
that's
a
what I wanna do.
superpower.
Is the superpower to be forced to change your gender every other day? Because that could cause a lot of problems.
No. We're going with just anytime you undress.
Yeah,
Oh.
because that's a,
So,
that's
do you want $1
superpower.
million and a superpower?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks. Done.
Question answered.
All right.
I hope I'm attractive female.
Do you guys
They
have?
have the Have you used the filters yet on Snapchat?
Yes.
What do you look like?
That my manliness is too much for the filter.
The beard. I tried it too.
Yeah.
The beard does not work. It tries so hard.
I was
you're
hot,
Tatty
dude.
Wampus.
What is Tattywampus? This is Tattywampus?
You, the microphone. It was just pointed at your
Tattywampus.
Oh, well.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's where he was
That's
speaking
where
from
my
at the moment.
volume comes from.
That's where my
is
mouth
Look
is.
at them fucking eyebrows, man. Get the fuck out.
Does anybody have anything else to say about that?
I was a hot chick on that app.
Yeah.
Josh took my picture with that app, and I was like, oh shit,
Somebody else
that was pretty
was when we did it at
I think it was Josh.
Beijing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beijing.
Josh was
looked
Josh
pretty
was
good.
I think he was a pretty
good,
attractive lady.
good.
Yeah.
Josh was pretty good, which was
Hey.
really surprising.
That is really
Yeah.
surprising because he's an ugly dude.
That's not at all what that implies.
I know. Yeah. I'm
He's
playing.
got the blue eyes and the round face.
Oh, he is
Yeah.
he's a handsome boy.
He's got
Yeah.
that cherubic
handsome
face.
boy.
Yeah.
I'd touch that thing. Unlimited money, but for every million you gain 10 pounds of fat.
Like in a bucket?
Are you able to lose it? Are you able to
Sure.
work it out?
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason you couldn't.
Done.
That's not a I mean, yeah, you just gain 10 pounds.
Well,
of fat
here's
for
the
every
question:
million.
do you have to take all the money up front?
I'm gonna say that is a stipulation.
Then I
That's
gain 10
dangerous.
million, I gain 100 pounds, and I get a personal trainer. I
Yep.
work it off in a year
Right.
or two.
That's like the
Think
number
of
that I came to in
think
my
of
head.
the damage that would do to your body.
Especially
do it
gaining
all
it
the
all at
time.
once.
Instant gain
Instant
of 100
gain,
pounds, like
yeah.
your skin's never recover. Like you
Yeah.
would,
Oh, that's
to
true.
be fair, you would literally rip out of your body.
But
Like,
I have 10 million. I can do all kinds of reconstructive surgery. I don't give a shit.
I don't know, man.
we have to
Your
assume
skin
that your body's going to
explodes.
accommodate as if it was like gained naturally.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would literally like burst.
We'll say
Yeah.
you'll get 50% more stretch marks than you would have normally.
Ugh, stretch marks suck.
Yeah, those can be surgically removed.
So maybe 20 pounds.
There's
$2
only
million.
so much cosmetic surgery can fix.
Yeah.
Sure.
We've seen those faces.
Fuck, I could put on 30 pounds and still be cool. Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah. Your little
Well, I
grasshopper.
mean-
Yeah, exactly.
We wouldn't think you're cool.
Yeah, dude.
You cross that
Get out.
threshold.
You would when we were riding water slides all
There's
day
not
long.
enough freaking. There's already too many big boys in this group. Get out of here.
However, like if you're looking to get healthy, just eat some salads. Those salads
Right.
include some things that are really delicious.
like pizza.
Pizza,
Okay.
salad.
Yeah.
So
Man, I love
just eat
going
more
to
pizza.
an Asian restaurant and ordering toast.
Yep. Can I get some toast from
What kind of toast do you guys make?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got one more that I pulled up while
Like
we
the
were
cheesecake
doing
quiche,
break here.
please.
That one's still that last one.
The
that's-
the weight.
So you would do.
So-
you said 10 million.
If you were to gain it naturally, but you get a bunch of stretch marks and like that, maybe 2 million. But if it's like as if I had just naturally grown 100 pounds, you can work off 100 pounds in a couple years, and I have $10 million. That's not hard.
I mean, so that's the weird thing
well,
too.
you
It's
you'd
like-
have $100 million.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah,
I'd
if
be
you
at
gained
what?
100
I'd be at
pounds, or no,
two-
sorry, no, that is right.
I'm
You-
at like
you were right.
170,
10 million.
180 now.
We got to think about this too. So like in those two aspects, you have as if gained naturally versus like instantaneous. But we'll say instantaneous, but not
Life threatening.
life threatening.
Yeah.
So if you do it instantaneously, your body isn't used to, like, it wasn't as if you consumed excess calories for X amount of years and gained that weight. So you would already be in a state of weight loss because your
Well,
body's
I
going to
think
be used to
your
consuming.
organs would probably
Sure.
immediately shut down. Your liver would just give up. Like if suddenly it had 100 pounds of fat to handle in your kidneys and your bloodstream, I don't know if your body could handle that.
I'd
Well,
take death.
that's-
I'd have $10 million.
I mean, that's what we're talking about, where it doesn't kill you, right? That's the instantaneous, but doesn't
I
kill
don't.
you.
How do you answer that question? Like, what would the body do if suddenly you gained 100
Well, it's
pounds
magic.
of subcutaneous fat, like brown fat? You
And
know,
deal
or
with
something?
it.
Well, the big thing wouldn't be necessarily the weight, would it? Like, yes, your muscles would have to accommodate that, so you
Oh,
would
yeah.
sore. and
Your
stuff
bone
like that.
structure is going to be
Your
how your
cardiovascular
bone
system.
structure has developed
Well-
over time according to your weight's going to be affected, right?
No,
No?
no.
Your
Why not?
bones don't.
100 pounds is a lot.
Your bones will
It'd be
grind
like putting
down.
on a 100-pound backpack.
Yeah.
That's literally just be like you'd be throwing on 100, or you'd put a 100-pound fat suit on.
You'd probably be in a lot of pain pretty quickly for a
Yeah.
while.
You'd be definitely
Yeah.
sore as your muscles, because you're
Yeah.
wearing an extra 100 pounds every day. But what I'm saying is like your body would already be in a state of weight loss because you didn't gain those naturally
Yeah.
through excess calorie consumption, lack of burning and
Mhm.
stuff. So
Suddenly you
continue
just
your
have
normal
all this
lifestyle.
energy.
yeah, you'd have enough energy still to move around.
Yeah.
Plus, you'd probably burn it even faster because now
Yeah,
you're
that's
walking around with
true.
an extra 100 pounds on your body.
I think your cardiovascular system
yeah,
would be
I don't
screaming a
know.
little bit, but
Yeah, that's the question. Is you'd have to assume that your organs could handle it. Just a
Yeah.
blanket statement that, because I would imagine if that were to happen, your organs probably couldn't handle that. I just don't think that would fly.
What? I don't know enough about
I don't
biology
either.
Well-
to where why would it affect your organs at all?
'Cause-
Well, so first of all, it's going to affect your heart terribly
Why?
yeah.
because all that fat's going to constrict your veins,
Mhm.
which means your heart's going to need to pump faster to get blood to the areas of your body that it needs
That's
to go.
that's why fat people have
like
high blood
straight
pressure.
up.
No,
like
fat people
right
have
away.
high blood pressure because they have clogged arteries. There's
No.
cholesterol and stuff inside
I
their.
don't know enough
Not
to have an
usually. No, the
opinion.
cardiovascular system is actually constricted by the amount of fat that is in you. It also has to travel further because you have more mass. Like when my blood
That,
travels,
that makes sense
Yeah.
because you have blood
So it's-
vessels that go through your
Mhm.
fat. Yeah.
so it's kind of twofold, and that's why blood pressure goes up kind of like exponentially overweight.
So you might have to go on like a blood thinner or something.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, it's an interesting question.
We could probably later on look up like who put on weight, like for a movie, like let's say some guy
Yeah.
put on like 100 pounds in a year, like what did it do to his body?
Sure.
You know, and then just exacerbate that stuff. And there's
Rob
that,
McElhenney from Always Sunny.
yeah, he was gaining mass,
Yeah,
cultivating
yeah,
mass.
cultivating
right?
mass.
And there was that the Super Size Me documentary.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I never looked into how
Morgan
truthful it
Spurlock.
was, but his doctor was saying that he was on the edge of death
yeah.
after like what, a few
The
months.
so
I feel
some
like a lot of that stuff ended up being like
I
there
don't know how
were some
exaggerated.
follow ups to that
Yeah.
because it was extremely exaggerated.
Okay,
Yeah, so it turns out that Super Size Me was kind of a bullshit documentary.
yeah, because at the end of the day, a lot of people eat McDonald's.
There's
and they're
a
not-
guy that has a Big Mac for every meal, and he's been doing it for like 30
They also talked about
years.
that on the documentary.
Yeah,
so,
and
yeah.
he's as good of health as you can expect somebody that eats 3 Big Macs a day.
I don't know if this is the case, but something to point out is that we really don't know enough slash much about how diet really works.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's still fucking.
You
It's
ask any
nebulous.
doctor, you know, water, greens, things in moderation, exercise, sleep. But at the end of the day, getting into specific diets, as far as I can tell from the little research I've done, no one really knows the exact truth. And it really varies way more heavily than you would imagine per person
I
Oh,
what
yeah.
works.
agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
So if
that
you-
guy might be able to be fine eating. Big
Right, I mean,
Macs, and it could just be him.
Yeah, you put 2 random Joe Schmoes and you
Yeah.
give them the task of eating a Big Mac for every meal.
I would die.
You might, you might.
I feel like shit. when I
So
eat
if you ever
fast
come
food.
across the queue, the moral of that story is the line of people being offered unlimited money for every 10 pounds they gain. You want to be at least like 4th, 5th in line,
Yeah.
just so you can
Yeah.
kind of observe what those first couple
Nah,
people do.
nah. I do like 40 pounds
When the
because I'm
first
like
person
35
goes in
pounds under
there-
my heaviest weight. I'd be fine
Yeah.
I would probably risk an easy 40 pounds,
Yeah.
just to get that 4
because
million.
that's $4 million fucking dollars. I
Yeah.
take in a
If you're
heartbeat.
far enough back in line,
In a
just
really
get,
fat heartbeat.
you know those meters when they like clap to vote for the winner? Just like listen to the screams of the person as they suddenly gain like 200 pounds of fat. and, like, yeah.
Nah, I think yeah, just like 40 pounds would be fine.
I'm
yeah.
curious to know how much money is required where you can reasonably quit working.
Yeah, it would depend on the current
Yeah, your
inflation
lifestyle.
and lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables, but there's got to be like an average, right?
Let's say you make, just for simplicity's sake, you make $25,000 a year.
That's 40 years for $1 million.
Yeah. And we're in our 30s. I think we could probably comfortably live very frugally the rest of our lives without a job, without a 9 to 5. You might you should probably do some stuff on the
Hustle.
side.
Yeah.
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 You have unlimited time now, right?
Right.
So, yeah, do something on the side.
The other thing, $1 million, you're gonna have to consider taxes. And
Well, this is a magic million. So, this is post-tax.
Tax-free.
Yeah.
So
okay.
on average, like a normal retirement, to have a comfortable retirement, you have to cover annual expenses of about $50,000 a year. So what you'd want to do is guess roughly how many good years you have left.
Mm-hmm.
In which
That's
case,
a lot of money
Decrease
per
10
year.
for the
Yeah.
fat you're adding on instantaneously.
I think that article is more pointing out that like if you want to live comfortably,
Old people need health care.
50. Yeah,
A
the
home
healthcare,
eventually.
I didn't think
Yeah.
about that.
that's only
Like-
$2.5 million.
My parents don't live off $50,000 a year, and they're doing fine.
Yeah.
Or 50.
No, well,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone like $50,000 a year. I think is a reasonable number to say you can live pretty.
I also
comfortably.
think that's pretty reasonable
That's
to say that you
because
can
I live
fairly
pretty
comfortably.
decently where I'm at, but I know that like I stress about bills. I live paycheck to paycheck. I don't pay for the things that I should be paying for. I don't pay into retirement.
And we have 3 combined incomes in our household.
There's also that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 combined incomes, and we all kind of live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, and like $50,000 a year, that literally doubles my standard of living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's roughly about what I make a year now.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would double my standard of living.
because
Right away.
when you factor in that we have 3 incomes, I think we're well over 50 grand a year.
When you bring healthcare into it, all my logic goes out the window. I don't even know what
Yeah.
would apply because it depends on like how many fucking cancers do you have?
Yeah.
Because if you got a couple of those, catch them all. 50 grand isn't going to get you
Nope,
anywhere.
50
But-
grand
Right.
50 grand will get you like 4 treatments.
Good news is you could get 50 years at $50,000 a year at 2.5 million.
Yeah.
So if you go, you're almost doubling that, 4 million. That's $100,000.
Yeah.
For 50 years.
I'd go 40 pounds, 4 million. That's living really comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah. and doing whatever the fuck I want with my time now.
And that's
And honestly, with that amount of money, you can take a quarter of that and let it run itself.
that's the thing.
That's
Is
the
you
thing.
always invest. This is if
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
no other money gaining situations.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that'd be good. 40, 50 pounds,
Easily done.
done.
So
I take 42 pounds.
we've got one more. And I already know my answer to this, and I think you guys know my answer to this because I've talked about it quite a bit. But
Butt sex.
$1 million, but butt sex. $1 million, but you can never go to sleep again.
You would die.
Nothing bad happens to your body, so you don't get medical problems, but you can never sleep, so you have to wait every night.
You don't have to
Like,
wait every night.
I know they say wait every night. No,
You can go do shit.
Yeah.
This is the 21st century. There's
So
lights.
you're going to give me $1 million and suddenly I get to be
and I'm a
alive
superhero again? Yeah.
for
Twice as long.
8 extra hours.
So-
Yeah, this is another $1 million, but
guess
you get a
not quite
superpower.
twice.
Not necessarily because so I've talked about this a lot, and I've talked about it in amongst our group, and
Yeah,
I
we
wasn't
have.
yeah, and there are some of us that would not take this.
because you
As-
really enjoy sleep.
Yeah, because a lot of people really enjoy.
You
sleep.
enjoy sleep so much that you'd spend $1 million
Me?
to be able to sleep.
No, this would be my superpower if I could choose a superpower. Would be to
Right.
never sleep again.
Okay, yeah.
No, I love this idea.
And that's not to say that you still can't like lay down in a hammock and close your eyes.
Yeah, you can still chill.
Rest.
Yeah. You can enjoy yourself. You can be at peace
I
and relax.
really enjoy sleeping. If I had $1 million and someone told me that I'd have to pay it if I want to keep sleeping,
I feel like I
if you
enjoy
think about
sleeping.
the other way around.
But if I had $1 million, I'd probably enjoy being awake a lot more.
Yeah.
If
That's
I
right.
had $1 million.
No, yeah, I would be so much more productive. Or
I'd
not.
enjoy my
I-
waking
who
hours
cares?
more
Question.
than I enjoy sleeping.
This does not say that you cannot get tired.
It doesn't, but it says
Well,
nothing
it
bad
does say
happens.
body.
bad happens.
Yeah.
I would
getting
sort of lump
tired
that into
bad?
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess that. So then it's ridiculously good because you never get tired.
Right.
I agree, but I think there are a lot of people that would say no.
Okay, modify it. You get $1 million, but every sleep for the rest of your night is like a 6 out of 10 on the good sleep scale. Maybe 5.
That's how
5
most
and
of
a-
my sleep
That's,
are.
that's
right
how
now.
my
You get-
sleep
You
is.
get bad sleep guaranteed for or mediocre sleep for the rest of your life.
like adequate. Like that was kind of a shitty sleep, but you get $1
Slightly
million.
below average then.
So-
So it's kind of a shitty sleep.
I don't-
I'd say like a 5, 5.5. Like you've
But
had
that's average.
But you can
Yeah,
still
it's literally
sleep.
like
so,
so you-
average, right
but-
in the middle of the road.
You can
Fuck
still
yeah, I'll
sleep.
take that.
Yeah. You'll never have.
You
a
don't have
good
to work
night's sleep.
necessarily, which means I can still nap.
Yeah, but your naps are okay.
Yeah, but
Half your naps you've ever had have been better than the one you've had.
I take it.
I was
If
just trying
it
to
if it
find a
dropped my
harder-
quality
Sure,
of sleep
yeah.
down to like 2 because I'm already at maybe like a 4,
Two
then I'd
would
say
be
no.
horrible. Yeah.
The problem is, I think if you ask this question, it's a hard one to actually
subjective.
understand because
Yeah.
Yeah.
if if you have never experienced the reality of never having to sleep, so it's hard to understand what that would be like for some people
Mm-hmm.
because they would assume stuff like immediately they're gonna be like, oh well, sleep is refreshing and I wake up and it's great and I dream and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but those things are all good because your body's tired and
Yeah.
it's telling you
Right.
you need to go to sleep. If that's gone, that's an entirely different existence for you.
You may never feel, I would say you may never feel refreshed as if you had just woken from sleep, from a really good quality sleep. You'll never feel that again. But you will always feel how you feel at about noon.
How about $1 million?
That's actually bad. I feel that's
Yeah?
a pretty bad one because like then it means that I think would eventually add up.
You think, the way I'm envisioning it is you have started your day, you've expended some energy, but you still have most of the rest of the energy that you'd have during the rest of the day.
I still if that falls in that category, it's hard to really understand what it'd be like because
Yeah.
that feeling of feeling refreshed from a good night of sleep comes from being tired previously
Yeah.
and feeling refreshed. So it's like if I'm never that tired again, I never need to feel that refreshed again.
Sure.
Plus, being tireless is, I'm a biological machine at that point.
Yeah.
I think a certain percentage of the population couldn't hack it because you would have to be the kind of person or learn to be the kind of person that could be okay with the fact that for a third of your life now, unless you actively went out of your way, you're going to have to be awake by yourself.
Oh, I just thought of that as soon as you were talking. I was like, your significant other might
Yes.
have a problem with that.
So you would essentially have to learn to be like, I have this hobby I do, and I have to acknowledge that unless I'm like going to nightclubs or I'm traveling all over the world at random hours, like for now, it would be like if, what's a good way to put it? Like if now everyone you knew went to sleep like at like 4:00 in the afternoon, and you just spend the remainder of your evening by yourself every day. You know, you could go find people
It's
that
not
work
quite like
graveyard
that
shifts.
because like there'd be some times that people would be up with you. It
Yeah.
would.
Yeah,
the
just
majority of the
extrapolating.
time would
Yeah.
be spent.
You would
doing
just
your own
have to be
thing.
the kind of person that could be okay finding a hobby or working a side job or doing something by yourself for
Dude, yeah.
8 hours a day.
So here is why I would enjoy it so much, is because I don't get bored.
Yeah,
Like
you're a robot.
I don't have a boredom
determined this.
switch. I've
Yeah.
never I don't get the concept of being bored, because where normal people would get bored, I just fucking do something. That's the answer to boredom, is just doing a thing.
Yeah.
And if you can't be satisfied by doing a thing, then I don't see how you get out of the regular routine of boredom. I don't have that.
I'm envious.
I don't experience it. I just don't get bored.
I'm envious.
Yeah.
I only get bored.
Be glad.
But when you if you start to feel like something is no longer keeping your
Here's
attention,
an example.
or
Do you want to think of a game right now that you don't want to play because it seems like it wouldn't be fun?
sure,
Right.
okay,
Now, imagine everything you're thinking about doing right now has that feeling. You're like, I don't want to do any of that, and you have nothing to do. So you're picking.
there's no such thing as nothing to do. There's no such thing.
But
as
what
nothing
if
to do.
you're stuck doing
But
a
you have the
task that you
feeling.
find boring?
Yeah.
I find a way to keep it not boring. I mean, I can literally be in my headspace enough where if I can just autopilot this thing, which I do frequently because I just lose myself in thought.
Yeah, like you've worked kitchen line, you've worked
Yeah.
factory jobs. You're the kind of person that can just disappear
I just
into your
yeah,
head.
I 100% can.
I cannot.
My
I mean,
brain has to be.
I can do that for like
actively
an
engaged in
hour
something.
or two at most.
I can do that. I've spent days doing that. Like not days, but I mean I've
Right.
spent a good portion of a day just head tripping.
Yeah,
I
I got the perfect job for you, man. It's making bullets for you.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
I could work assembly. I mean, I've worked assembly line, and it didn't bother me at all. I didn't feel bored. It was a job where I felt more tired because it wasn't there was no physical activity involved. So yeah, I got a little bit more tired at this job because it didn't keep me moving, I guess.
You worked an assembly line and you didn't have to move.
well, no more than
No,
like
no more than
hands.
this because it was sitting. So
oh God.
yeah,
Okay.
so it was sitting, and it was literally just my job was to test heart pacemakers. So I tested pacemakers, and I literally had to plug a thing in, hit a button. If that passed, I hit another button, and then I would, and as long as that passed, I'd pull that thing out and I'd stick it in another one, and then I'd rinse repeat.
Could you listen to stuff while you worked?
No.
That
We
but
could not.
I would lose my
That's
fucking
hell.
mind.
So
Yeah.
we actually had music that played overhead.
Oh God,
Doesn't
music
matter.
that you
Yeah,
can't
which
choose.
was worse. Yes.
Yeah.
But no,
So-
I never. It was actually one of my more favorite things to do because that's when I got to not be involved mentally.
If I get stuck in those situations, legitimately, my depressive symptoms just skyrocket. Like
Mhm.
I'll get forced into an episode if I can't do something new or different.
I
It
could see
drives
being in
me
a negative
nuts.
headspace and not enjoying what I was doing. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that I'd get bored.
Well, I talked about ATK and stuff where I was having legit severe mood swings between
Mhm.
anger and just rock bottom depression, just because I was trapped in.
You were doing
a
like
job.
12-hour shifts, right?
12-hour shifts of assembly line
Just
work.
same thing over and
Can't
over
talk
again.
to anybody. Can't
prison,
listen to
dude.
my own music.
That's another thing.
Got to hit numbers.
Yeah.
In the same
bad.
vein, I think I could be in solitary confinement for a good solid while. I wouldn't want to be. This is not
Yeah.
this is not something that is at all desired,
Mhm.
right? But I think I'd be fine for
I'm not obligated to do anything while I'm in solitary.
No, you're in solitary confinement. You're in a
a box.
6x6 box, or let's call it a 12x12 box.
I don't know how
There's-
long I can handle that. I can handle it for a while though.
I think I could handle it for
As long as there's no,
longer
like-
than most.
I think it took me 6 hours before I lost all concept of how long I'd been there, and I would start losing my fucking mind.
Yeah,
Do you guys ever see that game show where they put people in a room and then they have them guess how long they've been in that room after a certain period of time?
I didn't know it was a
I
game
haven't
show,
seen
but
that
I've seen people
particular one.
do it.
Okay.
I saw
Vsauce,
Vsauce. Yeah,
He put himself in solitary confinement, and it's always hard to tell how much hamming it up for the cameras.
Sure.
This guy, it's trustable that he's not going to do it at all.
yeah.
And after what amounted to I think maybe like 2 days, he was no longer lucid.
Yeah.
Like it took less than I think.
I think a
couple
lot of that had
days.
to do with losing his circadian rhythm almost immediately because they never turned off or dimmed the lights. It was static, always on.
That would suck.
It was always and
That's
it was
the
a
lights
bright
always on.
room.
I
too.
mean, that would suck.
My goal, if I was in that situation, if I could find any way to cheat the system and find a way to make markings, I'd exercise as much as I could,
The exercise.
try
yeah,
to
that would
sleep,
do.
and I would write or make games, or I could run D&D by myself in my own head. And
Right,
just
that's the thing,
Find
too.
a way to make a die out of something or a coin, and just imagination, exercise, and sleep. And I think I might be make maybe a week, right,
Yeah.
before I go crazy.
Is it strict solitary where like you don't have any amenities? Like you can't get a hold of a pad and paper?
I think in normal solitaire you
pencil
get
or
like
something,
a
or-
shitty bed, water bottles. I mean, I remember, or I watched a documentary. A guy got put in solitary in a black room. They turned the light out. It was like punishment, this cruel and unusual punishment. And he found a button off of his shirt, and his game was to throw the button and try to find it based off the sound of where it landed. And he'd do it for hours.
dude, that would
'Cause
actually keep me
that's
entertained
all you
for
had
a
to
while.
do is just
Yeah.
throw it in a random direction as hard as you can. You hear it ping around, and then try to find it in the dark. Like, oh god,
Damn.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I can be left with my own thoughts. I've never reached a limit on that.
Yeah, my brain's too broken.
So how about this? $1 million, but so I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but you know that feeling when you're tired and your eyelids droop and like you
Yeah.
can't keep them open?
Yeah.
So $1 million,
Kind
but you can't sleep, but that happens to you every night for the normal amount of period that you would be sleeping, where like your eyelids droop, they stay shut, your body's like it would be like being in a coma, right? For being asleep. So you're physically asleep, but not mentally asleep.
No, that
And then you
sounds
have to deal with the
awful.
psychotic issues
Yeah.
of not mentally sleeping.
Not-
So you'd have to like wrap your mind around the fact that I'm tired
Yeah.
mentally, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Again,
For how long?
It's your life.
Nope.
oh,
No.
I could
Yeah.
do it for maybe a week,
Yeah, maybe a week.
maybe.
Being on the edge of sleep for me is just one of the worst things.
Sure.
It's like when you're not able to fall asleep, but you're so tired that like you need it. Like
And so-
it's needed.
Yeah, and so you would get up and your body would be fine, right? But you would feel like you had not slept mentally.
Yeah, there'd have to be a time
No.
limit on that, like
Yeah.
a year,
Yeah, you'd go crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do that.
forever. Pfft, get the fuck out of here with your $1 million.
It's a better question.
That's
Yeah.
torture. I wouldn't do it for $1 million
20 million.
for
a
the rest of your
year?
life. That's just
You couldn't do it.
For the rest of your life? Fuck no.
Oh,
Nope.
Okay.
No
No.
amount of money.
I would try.
there's a
I
lot
wouldn't
of
be a happy
things
person anymore.
in the $1 million butt situation that are instant no's when
Yeah.
you apply it to your entire life. If there's
Yeah.
not an end in sight,
Okay.
there's a lot of things I'd put up with for a year. I figure I could power through,
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah.
also a lot of them where you add that caveat of forever.
For life.
No,
Yeah.
no way in hell.
Let's find one more good, amusing one. I don't know what we're on time wise.
Well,
plenty
of
of time.
We're
We have
$10
our
million,
entire
but you
lives.
have
We're
to
going
change
way
your
late.
sex.
We kind of already did a sex.
It's
now.
interesting. No, you can't
Mm.
change it back. I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either.
No,
I
I
like
wouldn't do
being
Oh
a dude.
God.
Yeah, I like being a
$1 million, but anything you watch on a screen has a 1 second delay between the video and the audio for 2 years.
Oh.
2 years.
I'd have to stop watching shit.
Yeah, just spend the 2 years like out
Yeah.
backpacking and shit.
I would.
That's
I
true.
wouldn't be able to watch anything.
That's true. You
That
do
could
have
I
$1
don't know.
million.
You'd probably get
frustrating.
used to it.
I mean, I'd take it, but it'd suck.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be happy about
It'd be like
it.
a first world. It'd be
Yeah.
like a first world problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could. I wouldn't probably stop watching stuff.
You get $1 million and you get your dream significant other, but your family sees them as an anime body pillow.
That's, I do that only just like because it's fun.
Yeah,
It
dude.
depends on your
oh.
relationship with your family.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say like your current state. You
So,
would be
dude,
fine with it. But
Fuck you guys.
First of all, it'd be my body pillow.
Right.
I'd be straddling my own body pillow. God.
We do a white elephant gift exchange every year, and Andy not only wins every year, but consistently
Stupid
tops
wins.
himself. And last year, I won it. It's still in my closet. He made a half-naked body pillow
why is it
version
in
of
your
himself.
closet?
Because my bed
There's
is
some
not a
answers,
graceful
you know.
enough place for it.
Oh,
It
that would
doesn't
be my
deserve-
knee pillow. I'd put that in between my legs.
Yeah.
So
I'd
I
make it
have
knee.
another pillowcase of me and my boudoir shoot just sitting in my closet
Yeah.
because occasionally children come over. I just don't feel like explaining to my niece and nephew why Uncle Andy is laying down on the bed in his boxers.
Body
Yeah.
shaming them.
Yeah.
The funny thing
ooh.
about that one though is it says just your family, so that wouldn't be that.
Yeah,
big
it's
of
just
a
your
deal.
yeah.
I
That
mean,
one, that one's fun. There's a quarter chance a lie you tell becomes the truth, and half chance every truth you tell becomes a lie.
The universe would implode in
I
a
know. I
week.
think that's kind of
Yeah.
fun.
dude, I would mess so many things up
Yep.
on accident.
Yep.
It's like you're throwing math percentages, chance and stuff. I wouldn't be able
Be
to
like,
calculate that.
Every proton weighs a pound. Every proton weighs a pound. You say it a couple more times, and the universe implodes.
$1 million, but you grow breasts if male and grow a large crotch bulge if female.
That's funny.
Moobs? A lot of people have moobs, and they don't have $1 million.
Yeah,
Some
That's
women
kinda-
already have a large mons pubis.
true. Yeah,
Our
thick,
mannequins at work do.
some of those thick pubi.
I don't want to grow breasts though.
No,
Not
I mean I've already got a decent set of man milkers. You know, I
Man.
don't need to make them bigger.
Gross. I don't like it.
Well, it's too bad.
Accent changes based on mood. That's just a superpower.
Yeah.
Gen-
It'd just be a weird quirk. People see the thing is people
Oh,
would
they
think you're
tell you what they are assigned to as well. In the rest of it,
So-
happy as English, angry as Spanish, sad as American, afraid as Japanese, disgusted as French, confused as Polish.
people would
Unfortunately,
just
people
get
know exactly-
insulted.
Well, I mean, they'd know instantly how you're feeling
Yeah.
every day too.
Once they figure it out, I think most people would think you're just an asshole.
Probably.
Yeah.
I like the separation here. Happy is English and sad is American. And I know they're not talking about language, but I mean, yeah, that's-
which American accent is the question?
Ooh, good. So
Mm.
They think
good
there's
point.
one accent for America.
You know, it's weird
Or
that
English
how
even.
like
yeah, English is
Probably in Spanish. I don't know enough about their accents, but sure it's there.
it's a rabbit hole.
the Japanese. I watched like YouTube interview of Japanese people on the street, giving their best American accents, and it didn't sound anything like the common American accent. Everybody did like the Southern drawl.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
bang bang Texas.
Mhm.
Shoot 'em up.
Yeah.
I years ago worked at a coffee shop with a couple of dudes from South Korea, and we were closing one night, really bored, and like we were so bored we were just like throwing pieces of receipt paper into the trash can, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And man, let's draw pictures of what you thought American people looked like before you came to America, and I'll draw what I thought of Korean people before I met Koreans. So I drew some dude in like a karate gi or something, you know, and he drew some like hokey dude with a 10-gallon hat and a
Yeah, yeah.
sheriff's star and shit.
That's exactly how we look. So
Yeah,
that's
I
pretty
mean,
accurate.
yeah.
I mean,
It was funny as
Oregonians are just
hell.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, you guys ready to wrap up?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah?
I could keep talking for another.
Yeah, we
couple
can
hours.
I know,
so-
I could too, but we've got to cut this one. We're at almost 2 hours.
Goodbye, everybody.
We're just
You're welcome.
rambling.
Guys, we love you.
And as always.
Okay, bye.
Educate your mind. Don't let the brain cells die. Come on, it's balcony time.